Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade. Sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. There's a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Sack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Gildea and the Shakeouts. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proceed, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes sweet and sassy. Not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hello, my friends. Hello. Today is the Thursday, May 7th, 2026. There's never a dull moment. There's never a dull moment. Oh, how I wish we could get out of Massachusetts and the Massa shenanigans and the corrupted Massachusetts. I don't know, whatever the hell you want to call it, but it is never ending. It's never ending. Yeah, if you didn't get a notification, that's because I just scheduled this like 2 hours ago because I was really, I don't know what I wanted to do. And then sometimes I just procrastinate for so long and then I just put it up. And if you get here, you get here. If you don't, you don't. You watch it on the replay. No big whoop. Just smash the like button either way because it helps the algorithm. Dramachusetts. Yeah, I know. Emily says, thanks, Scott. Emily C says, sorry, no one's allowed to leave until we fix this place. Girl, we're trying. I mean, I've been here for a long time trying to expose the corruption that is going on in your home state and particularly in your home county. But it just doesn't seem to stop. Part of the problem is it's been going on for decades, right? I mean, it's been going on for decades, unchecked. And I think there's enough players involved that they just think if they can get away with it long enough without any ramifications for their behavior, well, then why stop? Interesting. Yesterday, I was flipping through channels because I took the day off yesterday because, wow, the Stefan Diggs trial was a lot. A man who was let go from the Patriots, people say for financial reasons, but you can't tell me that these assault allegations by his ex-personal chef, Mila Adams, didn't have anything to do with it. And I'm sure many of us heard about this and we thought, oh, that's horrible. Another athlete beating up a chick, right? Beating up a woman. And we watched the trial and we learned that the Dedham PD did exactly zero investigation into the allegations against Stefan Diggs. In fact, it was based solely on Mila Adams' verbal complaint to one Dedham police officer who wrote a statement for her. I don't even know if those charges went to the grand jury. Did they? Was it just filed on a written complaint? Because the sham prosecution called exactly two witnesses, Mila Adams, who had zero credibility in my mind. I could tell it from 5 minutes into that testimony. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. And then they called the Dedham police officer who took her statement and did exactly zero investigating into this complaint before making it public and trying to ruin a man's life and career. And that is frightening. That is frightening that an uncorroborated allegations of what she said in her testimony was an open-handed slap and demonstrating some sort of a chokehold, sleeper hold that she says caused her to pee her pants and begin her period again, despite the fact that nobody saw any injuries to her, even moments after this allegedly happened, within an hour. And she went on vacation. She went to New York City. She's dancing around, twerking, doing whatever she's doing on the TikTok. I don't even know. And the defense paraded in witness after witness after witness after witness. She told no one about it. And brought out on cross was the fact that, indeed, her lawyer demanded $5.5 million to settle this matter 3 weeks before the trial. You just can't make it up. You just can't make it up. And so we watched that, and that was devastating. He ran from that courthouse into his car, into his big Suburban or whatever he was, Stefandegs, and he got the hell out of there. We saw some tears falling from his face after he was finally exonerated. And this stems from a criminal complaint and allegations that were from December of 2025. So he's been having to deal with this for almost 6 months. The complaint wasn't issued, I think, until the end of almost like right before New Year's, something like December 29th. And he wasn't going to settle this case. He needs to have his name cleared. And he did. And good. And we were there to watch it. And this is what goes on in Norfolk County. And that's why they call it Norfolk. That's why I call it Norfolk County. Because it is. And it's not just, I mean, as if Karen Reed's 2 persecutions weren't enough. As if the Norfolk DA's office's failure to barely investigate Matthew Farwell for the murder of Sandra Birchmore and her unborn child after he took her virginity when she was 15, met her when she was like 12 at the Police Explorers program. And there's hell a lot of evidence against him. The feds had to bring charges for that. State still hasn't brought charges. Michael Marcy's office walked the hell away from that. The people that they choose to persecute and the people that they choose not to persecute, it's very interesting. And the more cases we cover in that county, the more clear it becomes. I mean, you can run, but you can't hide. You can try and shut me up. They've been trying to shut me up since January of 2024. It's not working. And there's a history and a pattern of this type of prosecution. Yesterday, I was flipping through the channels, as I started to say, and the movie Chappaquiddick came on. Has anybody ever seen the movie Chappaquiddick? I mean, this goes as far back as Chappaquiddick happened in I think it was 1968, 69. You know, the Kennedys are in Massachusetts too. They were very well protected. Lots of cover-ups going on involving the Kennedys. Ted Kennedy driving off a bridge with a young girl in his car named Mary Jo Kopechny. Maybe he was hammered. He was driving the car. He drives off the bridge. She's in the car. He gets himself to safety and he doesn't even try and save her. Anybody remember the death of Mary Jo Kopechny and how Ted Kennedy walked away from that unscathed? It's been going on for a long time in Massachusetts. You guys know it. You guys know it because you've been living there. You know, and there's a certain kind of person, certain kinds of people who are very well protected. Law enforcement, police officers, wealthy people, politicians, the district attorney's office, maybe. This isn't new. It's not new. So watching that movie yesterday was a big, it was like kind of a wake-up call. I'm like, oh, wait a second. This happened Hyannisport. What county was that? I don't even remember, but the district attorney was involved in that one too. They brought in a special prosecutor who was like friends with Ted Kennedy. This is not new. It's not new. It's just getting a little bit more attention now is all. So there's more massive shenanigans going on today, because of course there is. But for those of you who always want to know when the Dyson Airwrap is on sale, it's $150 off right now. I have linked it below in the show notes. You might have to refresh your browser to get in there, but you guys always want to know when the Dyson Airwrap is on sale. It will change your life. It is life-changing, I promise you. And it never goes on sale. So if you're lucky enough to get one on sale, you're lucky enough to get one on sale. It's expensive, but listen, you wear your hair every single day. Your hair is something that you wear every single day. It's the price of, I don't know, 6 or 7 blowouts maybe. And so the link, the discount link for the Dyson Airwrap is below this video. They do not sponsor me, but they should. They should. It's on Amazon. Yep. And I put the link right in the show notes below. Martha's Vineyard. Right. But what county is that? Is that a county, David? Emily C says she got a dupe and it didn't change her life. So listen to me. It's worth it. See, look, Kim bought one. It is really, it's life-changing. It really is. Question. No, something I want to bring to your attention. Thank you to Emily C for bringing it to my attention. Our friend, Be in Trouble 31, is having some health problems. He's having some health issues. I think he had an aneurysm or has one. He needs your help. He needs your prayers. I have also linked that video below for your reference. If you recall, Be in Trouble is a guy with a YouTube channel who's been obsessed with cars since he was like 5 years old. And he's done during the course of Pretrial Karen Reed, maybe number 1 and 2, he did all kinds of experiments that he filmed and put up on YouTube. He spent his own money to buy a Lexus taillight and to show how hard it would be to break a taillight. And he's a really good guy and he really needs your prayers and your help. So later on, when you're thinking of it, I've linked his video before and below also. And so I hope that all of you, he said especially the cupcakes have been very kind to him and really have been helping him through. It's Barnstable County. Thank you, Michelle. And so he's got some health issues. I put his video below so that you can go back and look to it later. Okay. I didn't, honestly, I didn't get to watch the whole entire thing. I've been busy all day. But what I hear is that he needs our prayers and thoughts and donations if you can afford to do that. Okay. So I just want to let you know about that. There was a Karen Reed civil hearing today. It was at 3:00. They prevent us from live streaming them. Thank you to Trial Channel for getting it, because I can play you the Trial Channel version. O'Keefe versus Karen Reed case. The hearing's about 17 minutes long, and the judge is pissed. The judge is not. Judge Gildea is not having a good day. Judge Gildea is not happy with Mark Diller. And he said something about sandbagging. So we're going to watch that. It's in Dukes County. All right, whatever. It was in Massachusetts. That's what made me think of it as I was watching that movie yesterday. It was a good movie. Kate Mara is in it. She was also in Imperfect Women. Also, Jason Clarke, the guy who played Alec Murdoch in the Hulu miniseries, he's in it. He plays Ted Kennedy. Ed Helms is in it. A lot of people you might recognize. It was a good movie from 2017. I had never seen it before. Also, there is, what was the other thing I wanted to show you? Myles King has been arrested on federal charges to conspiring and also maybe selling fentanyl and crack while he's been out on bail. And you may remember that Myles King was let out on bail because of Proctor and LALLY and their failure to turn over discovery in the case that he was awaiting trial for murder on. And so since he's been out on jail, he has been apparently, maybe innocent until proven guilty, dealing or conspiring to deal fentanyl and crack cocaine, which is so ironic to me. Because wasn't it Michael Proctor's attorney who just said in open court the other day, hasn't Michael Proctor been through enough? He's been keeping your children away. He's been keeping drugs away, narcotics away from your children's schools, right? And making you feel safe. And Myles King wouldn't have been out on bail if it weren't for the shenanigans of LALLY and Proctor. We're going to go back and look at that because that's new news. And we're going to go back and look at the old news. And I think we're even going to go back as far as the hearing with Adam Lally, where he got on the stand and had to testify in front of God and everyone and Judge Krupp about why he wasn't turning over to the discovery in the Myles King case. And then the Judge Doolin order that let Myles King out on $10,000 bail. Because this is what happens when the people who are in power are corrupt. Then maybe people who are really guilty of murder are going to get out on bail. Do you see how that works? Do you see how that works? Because everybody's entitled to a fair trial. Everybody's entitled to discovery. And when you hang on to discovery for 4 years and you're keeping a guy in jail awaiting his trial, this is the kind of thing that happens. So you should all be afraid. You should be very afraid because everyone's entitled to a fair trial. Michael Proctor was the lead investigator on Myles King too. And so maybe he won't get convicted of the murder, but maybe he'll be in federal prison for now drug dealing. So there's that. And then the Wellesley mom, who allegedly took the lives of 2 of her children, of her only 2 children, her little children, and then fled to Bennington, Vermont, has been extradited, and she was arraigned. I think it was yesterday. But I'd like to look at that with you. It is very short. It's about 8 minutes long. We have some more details about what happened. And Joe Krowski Jr. is her lawyer. And that too is in Norfolk County. Same judge as Diggs. Yep, I saw that. It was in Dedham District Court. She was arraigned. And she was crying. There's a lot more about to that story. I have a feeling there's a lot more to that story than we know yet so far. It's about an 8-minute arraignment. So much going on in your little county, your little part of the world. But first, I thought there were no more. Right. I thought there were no murders in Norfolk County. This is that girl T. And yet here we are. More and more and more and more. Because it just doesn't stop ever. All right. Let us jump into today's civil hearing for Karen Reed. I typically find these very, 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 very boring. However, I mean, maybe that's because I spent 3 decades sitting in hearings like this, although we actually had to go to court for this because before 2020, there were no Zoom hearings in court. You had to go, you had to show up, and you had to spend the whole day just sitting there waiting for a little tiny conference like this. And you could waste an entire day sitting there. She fled to Vermont, says alienated sharpness. I mean, it's not exactly on the same level as a one-way ticket to Vietnam. No, but she crossed state lines and drove 3 hours to, I think, her cousin's house or somebody's house, a relative's house. And they called to do the wellness check. So, yeah, she fled. And she had to be extradited. So when you commit a murder or 2, allegedly, because innocent until proven guilty, and you cross state lines, they don't have to send you back. There's a procedure that has to happen. It's called extradition. And if she doesn't waive it, it's a process. So that's just more taxpayer dollars that are being spent. Maybe that's the point. Maybe not. I don't know. All right. Let's watch this O'Keefe versus Reed civil status hearing in which this judge not happy with Mark Diller. And you can let me know what you think. Thanks, Trial Channel. I see you're here. Thank you for putting this up today because I didn't even have a chance to watch. Typically, I'll go on the Zoom myself and watch it, and I'll just be reporting to you guys while I'm watching it on the air, or I'll watch it and report back to you later, or other things. This is the case of Paul O'Keefe, Peggy O'Keefe, Mr. O'Keefe Sr., and Kaylee, the niece, against Karen Reed, the Waterfall, and C.F. McCarthy's. Okay? Let's listen. It's not very long. I'll stop it as we do and talk to you about it as we do. In the top center box of the Brady Bunch here is Aaron Rosenberg, Karen's attorney, defense attorney. Here to the left, Tamara Smith, not sure who she represents, one of the bars. Mark Diller is on the bottom right now. He's going to get a spanking, I think. And this is Judge Gildea all the way on the right-hand side. He sits a little too far away from the camera, but nothing I can do to tighten up his frame, although I wish I could. And here's another defense attorney on top right, and center, another defense attorney. The only plaintiff's attorney is in the middle. Center, bottom, that is Mark Diller. I think they're going to flip around the Brady Bunch screens, but that's what we got. We get. We don't get upset like they used to say in preschool when my kids were in preschool. And let's take a listen. Let's listen in. Remember, today was supposed to be Tully's deposition. And the judge said, oh, well, I'm going to schedule this conference for 3 p.m. on the same day. So that'll give you an incentive to get that deposition done fast. And Aaron Rosenberg was kind of like, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more than that, a lot longer than that, Judge. And I think I heard that Tully did not appear for his deposition today. I don't know if it was adjourned on consent or what. But this is reminding me to read you the our motivational quote of the day, because we do that here. We do the motivational quote of the day because we all need some motivation. God, I know I do. Here it is. Margaret Thatcher said, if you set out to be liked, you would be prepared to compromise on anything at any time, and you would achieve nothing. If you set out to be liked, you would be prepared to compromise on anything at any time, and you would achieve nothing. Thank you, Margaret Thatcher. Because you know me, I don't care if people like me or not. I'm not sitting on any fences, because the only thing that happens when I sit on a fence is that I get injured and it hurts and I get splinters. And I don't like splinters. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, I think we need an empowerment card for the day too. Let's get some empowerment. Here you go. Well, if you just started and you're late, don't worry, you didn't miss a thing. Except for the, I don't know, the rantings of me. The mad woman. Here you go. Confidence level. Selfie with no filter. There you go. Selfie with no filter. I know lots of people think I use filters on StreamYard, but the thing is that StreamYard does not have filters. This is not TikTok. There you go. We all have wrinkles, and we're proud of them. See? 5 kids. There's a lot of them there. Every wrinkle has a memory. All right, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Really exciting. But you guys want to watch it, so I'm here for you. Here we go. I'll make them bigger, make me smaller. And we'll see. Now, remember, this lawsuit was filed by the O'Keefes all the way back in August of 2024. August of 2024. There was a stay on the case. They couldn't do any discovery with regard to Karen Reed only until after the conclusion of her criminal trial, which was in July of 2025. Let us see what they have done since then. Pretty much exactly nothing. But let Judge Gildea tell you, and let Mark Diller do the abada about it. There we go.
All set, Kelsey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the matter before the court is civil action number 2483, CB 00692. Paul O'Keefe, individually and personal representative of the estate of John Joseph O'Keefe III et al. Versus CNC Hospitality, LLC, doing business as C&F McCarthy's et al. Your Honor, for the plaintiffs, we have Attorney Mark Diller present by Zoom. For defendant C&F McCarthy's, we have Attorney Tamara Holstag. For defendant Waterfall, we have Attorney John Deal.
Okay, so that was Tamara. Wait a second. This shouldn't be boosted. Okay, wait. It was very loud. Tamara was apparently the attorney for CF McCarthy. Somehow she lost her camera. She dropped out. I don't know what happened, but we'll find out.
And David Hassett, I believe, or maybe just one of them.
It's just John Dealey today, madam.
Thank you. And for defendant Reed, we have Attorney Sarah Shipley and Attorney Aaron Rosenberg, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, it was mistaken. So the woman here on the left hand, now she's on the left bottom. Sarah Shipley is also one of Karen Reed's attorneys. All right. Top right, this gentleman here represents the Waterfall right, and the female who dropped out or maybe had tech issues, she represents CF McCarthy's.
Good afternoon. So when we were last together on April 9th, at that point, I think not a single deposition had taken place other than keeper record depositions. And I concede that this case has been pending for 619 days. And I acknowledge that for 231 of those days, over 7 months, the case was subject to what was a very limited stay as to discovery involving Ms. Reed and depositions of certain of her family members. But that stay expired over 10 months ago. When was it, in July? So coming up on a year. And I tried to figure out how a case that's been pending for so long could have so few depositions conducted. And one possible answer came when I was looking at the docket. Did you know that the parties are represented by a total of 22 lawyers in this case?
Let me just explain to you how civil litigation works, since, you know, it's what I did here for over 3 decades. The plaintiff's attorney, this guy, Mark Diller, I was a plaintiff's attorney as well. I still am. I'm just, you know, retired for now. Plaintiff's attorneys take cases on contingency. That's why plaintiff's attorneys make a lot of money. Typically, it's 1/3 of the recovery. So, you know, just for easy math, let's say you settle a case for $3 million. The attorney's fee is $1 million. You don't get paid unless you recover money for your client, which is great for the clients because they don't get billed by the hour, and they don't get sticker shock every time they get a bill every month for every 6 minutes, because lawyers also bill every 6 minutes by the 10th of the hour. But the plaintiff's lawyer is the one who has to prove their case. They're the ones who don't get paid till it concludes. And so plaintiff's lawyers are usually very eager to get cases moving and to get shit done. Okay. So you want to push towards either a settlement or a trial or a verdict or a judgment or something so that you can actually get paid. That's the way it works. No, I'm not coming out of retirement. No, I just mean I am a lawyer. I will always be a lawyer. I will always keep my license. I will never let it lapse. And so people don't seem to think I'm a lawyer because I am not actively right now practicing. Everybody needs a break every now and then. Plaintiffs' attorneys also pay all of the expenses. They front everything. They front the expenses. And then at the end of the case, they get their expenses back. And they usually get 1/3 of the recovery, depending on what state you live in. As we looked at when we looked at the Maya Kowalski case and all of the shenanigans going on there with Greg Anderson, the plaintiff's lawyer, I think one of his retainers said they get up to like 50% of the recovery or more. Some cases, like medical malpractice cases in New York, have a sliding scale retainer where you get, you know, X percent of the first million and then X percent of the next 2.5 million. And it's a sliding scale. So the more money you recover on medical malpractice cases, the less money the attorney gets paid. It's not the full third. And so this guy really has no excuse to not be pushing this case along. Typically, the plaintiffs are the one noticing all of the depositions, sending out subpoenas, sending out notices. And the first depositions that you take are of the parties, okay? Karen Reed should have been the first person deposed in this case. Somebody from C.F. McCarthy, somebody from the Waterfall. The fact that Karen's attorneys, the defense attorneys in this case, are the ones out there sending out however many 20 subpoenas for depositions before Mark Diller even sent out one is shocking to me. It's shocking. This case has been going on for 619 days. How long can you afford not to make any money? Remember what Greg Anderson did in Maya Kowalski? Maybe you don't know this. He mortgaged his own home to pay the expenses on the Maya Kowalski case in Florida. All right. Nothing's happened for 619 days. Not one deposition has happened. And let's hear what he's got to say about it. There's 22 lawyers in the case. 22 lawyers have put in notices of appearances for all of the defendants and the plaintiffs. And the judge he's mad, and he should be. I'm mad, and it's not even my case.
Ms. Reed leads the pack with 10. The plaintiffs are a distant second with 5. Waterfall has 4, and McCarthy's has had to try and get by with only 3. But then I thought of the attorneys that are involved in the case, and they're all experienced lawyers, and so they can't be the reason that the case has been pending so long with so few depositions taking place. Then I thought, well, maybe it's the issues in the case are so complex. But I think, as we all recognize, when you cut to the core of this case, it's a wrongful death action with a dram shop component and a claim of negligence in the operation of a motor vehicle. So
It is not complex litigation. Complex litigation is a construction accident case where you have a guy who falls off a scaffolding because he wasn't wearing the proper safety equipment, and you have to sue the building owner, the subcontractor, the general contractor, and everybody else. That's complex litigation. Medical malpractice is this is basically a car accident that didn't happen, wrong, and a man who wasn't killed by a car. That's what they need to prove, right? And a dram shop action is in certain states you can serve a bar. I mean, you can sue a bar or an establishment, a restaurant who serves alcohol for over serving the person who allegedly killed your loved one while drunk. That's the dram shop aspect of it. And some intentional infliction of emotional distress thrown in for the niece because Karen says some things to her that allegedly weren't true. It's not complicated. Look at Aaron Rosenberg's face. I have no idea where Ella was today. I have no idea. All right.
of negligence in the operation of a motor vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not that complex. And when I say that, I'm not trying to minimize the claim of the plaintiffs or the defenses of the defendants. So we're here for a status on discovery. So I'd like to hear from each party as to what depositions they have conducted, those that they have noticed, and those that are intended. And I thought maybe we'd go in the order of the number of attorneys that a party has. So we'll start with the least and we'll start with McCarthy's.
She fell off the screen.
Oh,
We lose
okay.
McCarthy's?
I believe we did, Your Honor.
Well, let's go to Waterfall. Attorney Daly?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. On behalf of Waterfall, we have noticed some depositions that are scheduled for July because so many depositions had already been scheduled, but we have not taken any depositions yet. We did participate in the deposition that took place, I think, on Tuesday. In this case, we have depositions scheduled of a witness from one of the bars where Miss Reed was present, as well as the toxicologist for the Massachusetts State Police, Trooper Roberts, or not know if it's Trooper Roberts, Dr. Roberts, also scheduled in July.
Good. His job is to prove that we didn't overserve her. That's his job. We didn't overserve. We're the Waterfall. We didn't overserve her. If she was overserved, either it happened at McCarthy's or the blood alcohol extrapolation is bogus, as we all know that it was. They took blood alcohol from Karen Reed as a secondary. Her blood was not taken pursuant to an allegation that she was drunk driving. Her blood was taken because she was brought to the hospital after John O'Keefe went to the hospital because she was allegedly making suicidal statements to her father. And so they tried to section her and they took a blood panel from her as just a normal blood panel. And then what they did was they took the ethanol results, and a couple of years later, they tried to extrapolate them back to say that her blood alcohol content around the time when she allegedly hit John O'Keefe with her car, somewhere around 12:45, was somewhere between tell me, it was a wild swing. It was like somewhere between 1.2 and 2.9. Or 0.12 and 0.29. Like whatever it was a wide swing. Don't hold me to the exact numbers, but it was crazy. So I'm glad they're doing that deposition, the waterfall is. And also the deposition of someone, I guess he's saying somebody who was with Karen at CF McCarthy's, maybe, to talk about how much she drank there. Maybe it wasn't us. She drank there, or she wasn't drunk at all. But somebody had a deposition on Tuesday. I don't know who that was. Today is Thursday. So on Tuesday, they did get one deposition done. I'm not sure who it was. I don't know if anybody knows for real. Okay. He's starting in the order of which defendant or which party has the least attorneys on the case.
Okay. So let's hang on and see if we can get McCarthy's back on.
Your Honor, it looks like Attorney Holzlag has signed in. Her camera's just not on.
That's right. I heard that too. Was it Steve Scanlon who was deposed? It was Steve Scanlon who was deposed. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Missy. For those of you who are not familiar with who Steve Scanlon is, Steve Scanlon is the man who, it had been rumored, I think, reached out to David Jannetti to talk about the fact that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. He was beat up in the basement or in the house. And then I think he reneged on his statement. I'm not really exactly sure, but it's something like that. Diller's going to tell us. Okay, good. I didn't watch it yet, as you can see.
At the moment.
Can you hear us, Attorney Holzag?
I can, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
Yes. So
Okay.
I don't know how much you heard of that, but what I'm hearing from each party is to what depositions they have conducted, those that they have noticed, and those that they have intended. So
Thank
go
you.
right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pardon me, I got. So we have to send out today or tomorrow the deposition of for two.
Attorney Holzag, you're kind of breaking up. I don't know if everyone else is hearing the same thing.
Hold on, let me
The trial
log back
court,
off and come back
the trial court wants us to do more things by Zoom,
in.
which is shocking to me, given what happens all the time.
Yep.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
see if
They
I
say
can
that-
bounce out and come back in.
Okay. While we're waiting for her, they say that the bar wants it. How about all of the members of the bar that are on this Zoom call? Do you want more Zoom and more virtual appearances?
He's saying the bar. Not when he says bar, he's not talking about the bar waterfall at bar CF McCarthy's. He's talking about the Massachusetts bar. Wants courts to do more Zoom hearings. He's like, how about you guys? Do you guys want more Zoom hearings? I mean, yeah, it's convenient because you don't have to waste the whole day in court, but I mean, it's so unprofessional. People have like the cats walking on top of them, and like it's so unprofessional. Some people don't even put suits on. It's like, I hate Zoom conferences for court.
No,
We're okay with,
Attorney Rosenberg.
we're agreeable to the virtual appearances, and there's time and place for us to have in-person appearances as well, Your Honor.
How do you think young lawyers are going to learn
Right.
if they're just sitting on a screen?
That's right. They're not.
But anyways, Attorney Holzag, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Is there still feedback, Judge?
It's gone now, so go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying that we have ready to go today or tomorrow the deposition notices and subpoenas to two of the patrons of Waterfall. We've been coordinating with counsel for Waterfall, who also have an interest in those two witnesses, as well as with plaintiff's counsel. We also are going to notice the deposition of one of the patrons of our own bar. And then in addition to that, we've been in constant, or I should say frequent contact with plaintiff's counsel, Mr. Diller, as to the scheduling of 4 witnesses on behalf of CF McCarthy's, which are scheduled for May, June, and July, and we're working on dates that work for all the witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. Attorney Diller, on behalf of the plaintiffs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before he gets spanked. Of course he doesn't want to go to court. He doesn't want to go to court. He's not making any money. He doesn't make money to go to court. Rosenberg bills, you know, the insurance company, by the way, by the hour, by every 6 minutes. So of course he wants to go to court. He can spend a whole day and bill for a whole day. But Diller does not want to go to court because he's not making any money on this case yet. if ever. When, if ever, will he make a dime on this case? I don't know.
At this stage, plaintiff has taken the deposition of Stephen Scanlon. We've served
Yes.
13 notices of deposition, 3 to occur in May. Karen Reed is noticed for June 19th. Aidan Carney is scheduled in July. We've got a pending motion to intervene in the Norfolk Superior Court to enforce our subpoena to enter into a protective order and get access to Mr. Carney's digital evidence. On February 11th, 2026, Your Honor, the defendant Reed noticed 19 depositions and scheduled them for specific dates. Plaintiff blocked off all of those dates and prepared for such depositions at that time.
Okay, Attorney Dillon, let
Yeah.
me, I'll give you the chance if you want to complain about something, but right now I just want to know what depositions you've taken, those that have been noticed, and those you intend on taking. All
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Attorney Rosenberg, on behalf of Ms. Reed.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've scheduled, we have noticed, I believe, a total of 15 or 16 depositions. We had, I believe, 2 that were supposed to go forward that witnesses were unavailable for, that we rescheduled. And we recently rescheduled some of the remaining depositions that we had previously noticed as a result of scheduling changes and the way that discovery has proceeded. We've got the most of our depositions relate to the one claim that Your Honor didn't mention when you were discussing the case, which is the intentional infliction of emotional distress claim against Ms. Reed, which relates to what the plaintiffs deem a false narrative. And the defense to that, obviously one of the defenses, is that that's not a false narrative. So a lot of these witnesses relate to that quote unquote narrative. And so I would just say, I don't think it's as simple. And in fact, as the plaintiff has argued, it's not quite as simple as just a wrongful death claim because of the way that the plaintiffs pleaded. So we've got them all, we have them scheduled. I believe Mr. Diller said Ms. Reed is currently scheduled June 19th or so. I think most of, if not all of our depositions surround that date and finish up at the very beginning of July. As Mr. Dealey said, I think that's when they've noticed the depositions that they noticed.
And you mentioned 2 depositions that had to be rescheduled because of scheduling issues?
It was either 1 or 2. I think it was 2. I'm just speaking off the top of my head. One was a third-party witness who the witness's counsel indicated was unavailable. I actually believe there were 2 of them. Again.
So there are 2 witnesses who have attorneys. Maybe Proctor was one, maybe Tully was the other. Let me tell you something. This is how it works in civil litigation. Depositions are rescheduled all the time, constantly. You notice it for a certain day, and then that day comes and some of the attorneys aren't available, whatever, the witness can't make it. It's not uncommon. It is very, very common for depositions to be rescheduled. However, again, I am telling you, the burden of proof is on the plaintiff here to prove their case. And the fact that Aaron Rosenberg is the only one out here doing depositions and he's a defendant, and the plaintiffs have done nothing except complain, tells you everything that you need to know. It is not uncommon for depositions to get rescheduled. And with the voluminous amount of depositions that they're going to have to do in this case, it can be expected.
Off the top of my head, so I could be wrong.
Whoever is like on this Zoom call that sounds like they're in an airport needs to like learn how to mute their microphone when they're not speaking. It's enough. We've been doing this for 6 years already. Could people learn how to work a simple Zoom feed? Oh, yeah.
But I believe it was 2 third-party witnesses whose counsel reached out before the deposition and requested a new date, and we accommodated.
Were you able to get today's deposition done in the 5 hours we allocated?
Well, no, that deposition was rescheduled.
Tully.
And
So Tully did not happen today. See, that's one of them. Tully's deposition did not happen today.
yeah, that's the answer.
So someone answer for me, how many depositions have actually taken place since April 9th?
One.
One.
Look at Diller's the first one to raise his hand, like one. Scanlon is the only one who's been deposed. Whose fault is that, plaintiff? Whose fault is that? This is your case. Don't you want to make some money? Complaintiffs, that was fantastic. I will allow it. I will allow it. That was I Love Sarcasm, who just coined that phrase, complaintiffs. He's holding up his one finger like he's looking for a miracle ticket at a Grateful Dead show. Sir, this is your case. Why you been sitting on it since you filed it on August 26th of 2024? Because you need to work on other cases because you need to make a living. I get it. But Judge Gildea is not having it.
Okay. Attorney Diller, I cut you off. You were about to convey some information or thoughts to me, so go ahead. You're muted, Attorney Diller.
Thank you, Your Honor. On February 11th, Your Honor, Defendant Reed noticed 19 depots and scheduled them for specific dates. Plaintiff and all the parties blocked off all of those dates and prepared for those depots.
He's reading from a written statement. Thank you, Animal Love Fest. I love that you're here too. Really? You couldn't riff this one? You had to write it down?
So far, Defendant Reed has canceled 17 depositions and renoticed all of them. For all of the depots that were scheduled to occur between March 24th and next week, Your Honor, the Defendant Reed has canceled 13 depositions. Many of those cancellations occurred on the eve of those depots, at least as far as we were notified. Even though the Defendant Reed had us block off all of these dates in February, I've learned that since Defendant Reed just sent off notices of deposition to the parties in this case, but did not bother to serve many of those deponents until the last minute. This clickbait lawyering is a tactic so that she can create a false narrative that these deponents.
Clickbait lawyering. I've never heard that phrase before. Clickbait lawyering. It sounds like you're doing some media posturing right now, sir. Sir, again, I'm going to say this one more time. The complaintiff, or the plaintiff in this case, is the one who is supposed to be taking the lead on discovery and getting all the depositions done so they can get to trial so that they can get paid. What is so hard? What part of that do you not understand, sir? And you're going to blame everyone but yourself? What have you been doing since the stay was lifted? Anything? What is it that you say you do here? See if I can move the captions over closer to him while we zoom in on him so that she can create a false narrative. Oh, show the whole screen. How about don't tell me what to do? But now we'll show the whole screen to see Rosenberg's face when he says that. Okay.
I've learned that since Defendant Reed just sent off notices of deposition to the parties in this case, but did not bother to serve many of those deponents until the last minute. This clickbait lawyering is a tactic so that she can create a false narrative that these deponents are the ones who are canceling the depositions. But because of the late cancellations, Defendant Reed has now rebooked those 17 depositions and without regard to other dates that we have already served depot notices for. Between now and August 1st, we have 35 depositions on the calendar in this case. Recently disclosed information from documents and depots may likely make necessary additional depots being noticed. Likely, I'm concerned, Your Honor, because I expect there will be third-party motion practice from some of these deponents. It appears that Defendant Reed is using our case to conduct discovery for the 3 other cases that are currently pending with her involvement. So I just wanted to give you context to the scheduling that has occurred up until today.
Your Honor, as you could expect, I'd like to respond to that context, please.
We all want to hear it.
Shocking. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's unclear if we're conducting a press conference here or a status conference in a civil proceeding. I don't know what
It's unclear if we're conducting a press conference or a status conference. There we go.
clickbait lawyering is, but what I can tell you, Your Honor, is Attorney Diller has never raised any concern about any date of our depositions with us. If any party to this case has a concern with a date for a deposition that we've noticed, we are more than happy to discuss that. It is completely inappropriate for parties to come on to a proceeding like this and take the time to force us all to go back and forth about topics like this that should be addressed between counsel. So I would ask, Your Honor, that we not handle this in this type of proceeding, and instead, if there's a problem with scheduling, by all means, let us know and we will adjust it as we have for third parties. I'm not going to, the accusation that the lawyering is being done for a particular way, frankly, is completely out of bounds and inappropriate. And it's designed simply to be conveyed to the public and not to Your Honor. And I request that we reconsider what types of discussions we're willing to have in hearings like this prior to any conference under Rule 9C or any other court rule.
Diller
So
checks
hang
note.
on one second. I bet Attorney Holstag doesn't want to miss all this, so we'll wait a moment for her to get back on. Is
She
she trying to
dropped
get
off
back
again?
on, Kelsey?
Yes, Your Honor, she should be popping up in a second.
Hello to Oz. JD.
I'm
take care.
here, Your Honor.
Okay. So,
I didn't
Attorney
miss
Diller, have you-
anything. I heard it all.
okay, all right. Attorney Diller, have you spoken with any of the parties about these issues?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, many of these cancellations, we weren't notified until the eve. I'll have you know
Okay.
that.
But hang on, Attorney Diller. Did you call up any of Ms. Reed's 10 lawyers and say, hey, what's going on here?
What's going on?
We've talked to them plenty, but we haven't talked about their position of canceling all these depositions, Your Honor.
Okay, well, it's kind of like you're trying to sandbag them, which
Ooh.
isn't a great way to do it. You know, let's take a step.
Kind of like you're trying to sandbag him. Judge is pissed because he's like, I don't need to be involved in every little squabble. I am not a high school principal. I don't need to be involved in every little bickering that goes on in every classroom in my building. You're supposed to be big boys and girls. You're supposed to be able to work it out amongst yourselves. Come to me when you have a real issue because you can't agree. Okay? That is the duty of attorneys. Try and work it out to save judicial resources before you waste the court's time. Yeah, no, I haven't really, haven't even really, talked to them about it, because eve of trial, eve of deposition. First of all, I hate depo. I hate that. New York lawyers, we call them EBTs, examinations before trial. And so it's just EBT. I hate depo. I don't know. For some reason, I hate that lingo. Anybody here in the chat? I'm sure we have at least one. Anybody here in the chat ever work as the calendar person at an office? The person who's in charge of confirming the daily calendar every single day. It is the most stressful job in any law firm, is confirming everything that's on for tomorrow. And everything is always confirmed the day before. Okay. Oh, a lot of you. Okay, look, a lot. Michelle Washington. We've got Jackie Zidell. We've got Carrie Coe. The calendar person is the most underpaid and hardest working. Look, Christine F. person in any law firm. It is the backbone of the law firm, right? Alexia the laundered knows it. And it is stressful as hell trying to make sure that you've got the court reporter lined up for tomorrow. And you could have like 10 EBTs in a day, right? Or more, depending on the size of your firm. You got to make sure the court reporter is set up. You got to make sure everyone knows that where they're going. You have to make sure your witness is going to show up. You have to make sure it's confirmed with all of the other law firms. It's like herding cats. It is the most difficult job in any firm, and the most important job too, because it's hard. Not just confirming depositions for the next day, but calendar appearances, IMEs, appointments. Stressful as hell. So for this guy to come, I don't know if he only does plaintiff's work. I don't know if he does other things too. For him to say it's ridiculous because they canceled them the day before, rescheduled them the day before. Dude, it happens on the daily. Tom Kokonowski's here. He loves depositions. They're lucky they have Gildea. Won't you agree with me that the calendar person is the hardest working person in the office, especially if you have a really big firm? So for him to act like this is so beyond the pale for depositions to get rescheduled the day before, that's the way that it works. Unless that's not the way they do it in Massachusetts. But yeah, no, we didn't try and work it out together. We just, decided to wait until this next status conference so we could get yelled at by the judge again. Nobody likes getting yelled at by the judge. And this judge, trust me, based on some of the judges I know and I've had to deal with personally, this judge is very nice. Let me take it back a little tiny bit. Yeah, nobody could call anyone. Mr. Dilley, you couldn't call up anyone of Miss Reed's 10 lawyers and say, what can we do? What can we work out here?
Lawyers and say, hey,
I'll have you know
Okay.
that.
but hang on, Attorney Dilley. Did you call up any of Ms. Reed's 10 lawyers and say, hey, what's going on here?
We've talked to them plenty, but we haven't talked about
Rosenberg.
their position of canceling all these depositions, Your Honor.
Okay, well, it's kind of like you're trying to sandbag them, which isn't a great way to do it. Let's take a step back here and keep in mind that we all have to be professional in how we deal with these cases. And that necessarily involves communication. And
Understood.
so let's try and keep that in mind as we go forward. All right? We'll
Thank
see
you.
everyone on June 3rd at 3
Thank
o'clock. Is that date a problem for anyone?
How many depositions do you have scheduled on that day? 10?
No.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Nope.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I hate to keep getting together every month, but it looks like we're going to have to continue to do it. So we'll see everyone June 3rd.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I mean,
The matter continues to June 3rd, 2026 at 3 p.m. for status conference that will be held via Zoom. And this matter is also continued to May 14th, 2026 at 3 p.m. for the continuation of the motion to compel for those parties that are involved. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
that's the motion to compel the town of Canton to turn over Sergeant Sean Good's employment records, prior complaints, internal affairs investigations, which they are claiming, the town of Canton is claiming is too unduly burdensome. Okay. How many complaints has Sergeant Sean Good had in his however many years he's been on the force at Canton PD? It's that voluminous. He's had that many complaints against him, that many internal affairs investigations. Really? Are you kidding me? It's embarrassing. The whole thing is embarrassing. And they should be embarrassed. And that's why I can't cover every single one of these hearings, because they're boring. That was kind of fun because he did say you're sandbagging and Diller said, you're all clickbait lawyering. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Here's the other thing that happened, okay? Mark Diller has made a motion in the Commonwealth versus Aidan Carney case. And Mark Diller is trying to get Aidan Carney's entire phone extraction because somehow he thinks that's going to help him prove something in his case, okay? I've said this from the beginning. Mark Diller did not sue Aidan Carney. He did not sue Aidan Carney. And if his allegation is that Aidan Carney and Karen Reed together conspired to frame this false narrative that caused emotional distress to his plaintiffs, well, he sure as hell should have sued Aidan Carney. The problem is, it's too late. The statute of limitations has expired. He filed this lawsuit within, he had 3 years. In New York, it's only 2 years from date of death on wrongful death. In Massachusetts, it's 3 years. So he had until January 29th of 2025 to file, but they filed in August of 2024 with 6 months left or something on the statute. And so I thought, why are they doing it so early? And if they're if they're going to try and prove that Karen and Aidan were conspiring together to put this false narrative out into the public and that caused them emotional distress, why didn't he sue Aidan Carney? He had time. It's too late now. But now you want to intervene in Aidan Carney's criminal case to try and get the judge to give you a copy of his phone extraction that's under protective order in that criminal case, even though some people have published it all over the internet. So that you can now use it for what? For what? Because your case is so thin that you need Aidan Carney's phone extraction when he's not even a defendant in your case? Dude, you got to prove that Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe with her car. Start there. Okay, start there. There's nothing in Aidan Carney's phone extraction that is going to show that Karen Reed didn't do it with a car. She's not going to say to Aidan Carney, I really didn't hit John with my car. I really did hit John with my car. I'm getting confused. I really did hit John with my car, but let's make up this fake story that I didn't. It's wild. Like, so that's where you're spending your time, Mr. Diller, instead of conducting depositions of the parties. Like, wouldn't you? It makes no sense to me. And I don't know if the judge in that case over there, I don't even know who's sitting on the case anymore. Commonwealth versus Aidan Carney. I don't know what judge it is, where Cosgrove is the special prosecutor. It's like the Wild West over there. But like, I've seen other people opine that he's probably going to get it. I don't understand why he would get it. How is it relevant to his case? You didn't sue Aidan Carney. Too bad, so sad. Maybe you should have. Will it become relevant in the case of Jen McCabe, the Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Colin Albert against it? Aidan Carney and Karen Reed? Yeah. But how is it relevant in your case? Because you allege that they conspired and yet you didn't sue him? I don't know. The whole thing is wild to me. You guys have sent me that motion. I'm like, I don't even feel like reading this. It's too long. It's the Twilight Zone. It really is the Twilight Zone. Will they get it? I don't know. They shouldn't. Because Aidan Carney's not a party to their case. But maybe they will, because there's some really loose rule somewhere that says maybe in some way, shape, or form it could be relevant. So they should get it, but they're not allowed to show it. And maybe it won't be admissible at trial. I mean, right. Somebody said here, it comes off as very beyond desperate. Jen says, like, your case is so thin, you need Aidan Carney's phone extraction to prove that Karen Reed made up a fake story that caused emotional distress to your plaintiffs. Like, you should really have your proof ready to go by the time you even file a lawsuit. Because you don't take cases that you know that you can't win, because then you never get paid. Chava Time used to be the calendar person at a law firm. Very, 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 very stressful. Very, like, did you ever go out to lunch ever once? You eat lunch at your desk every single day because there's only so many hours in a day. Doing the Lord's work out there. So ridiculous. And yet, nothing's really happening. One deposition has been done. It was Steve Scanlon. I don't know who noticed Steve Scanlon or who sent him a subpoena for his deposition. I don't know who it was, and I don't know what he testified to, and I don't know if we ever will, unless it's part of a motion down the line. But this case is going to be going on for years and years and years and years and years. Years. And to what end? To what end? Karen Reed's insurance company is never going to settle with you because John O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car and a car wasn't hit by a John O'Keefe. The bars are never going to settle with you. Maybe the bars will throw some money at him just to get rid of him. I don't know. Like there comes a point of diminishing returns, right? In the end, it's a business decision. But Karen Reed's attorneys are not going to settle because they're handling all her civil cases too, where she's the plaintiff. Or the one case, Karen Reed against everyone. So why would they? I don't know. It's insanity. But here we are. Here we are. Be rad for real. Thanks for your 10. Says, will you represent my wife and I? Pays good. Nope. Nope. We have a nope emoji for that. Nope. First of all, you think that I would ever, well, I don't know where you live actually, but you think that I would ever walk into a Massachusetts courtroom as an attorney and get involved in those shenanigans up there? Nope. 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 I'd rather sit right here in New York and talk to you about it. Thank you for your 10. I'll take your 10 though. Carrie says, I need prayers. I may have a bad liver and I have to get a CAT scan. I'm so sorry, Carrie Ham. I'm only 46 and no, I don't drink. I'm scared. I have an 11-year-old child. Prayers up for Carrie, everyone. Tag Carrie at Carrie Ham 8411 in your prayers. I'm so sorry. Sending you all of the healing vibes, girl. Clamasu says, does Diller want some cheese with that wine? Thanks for your 5. Dancing in the pea patch. That's hilarious. Was that from, what trial was that from? Faust? Says, Mel, I just bought my Dyson Airwrap. Oh, let me know how you like it when you got it. Thanks for being here for 5 months. Dancing in a pea patch. That was something we had never heard of before. So Baby I says, the question, if a plaintiff's attorney takes a case on contingency, loses, and is ordered to pay the defense fees, you mean costs? It's usually costs that they would have to pay. Who pays? Typically, the lawyers do. You're not going to get good reviews by making your client pay. If you lose, it's like the cost of doing business, I can't speak for all plaintiffs' firms, but I can tell you that my plaintiff's firm would never collect money from a client who lost on appeal. We just don't do it. Thank you very much for tuning in from Australia and for your super chat. Chastity Danielle says, time flies. I love you with all my heart. I missed most of this, but I'll be watching the replay. Thanks for everything you do, Mel. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. It was Afro Man. Oh, thank you. No House, No Faust says it was the Afro Man case. That's right. Dancing in the pea patch. Somebody else said it was in Faust. Then you say maybe Afro Man. I don't know. Kind of all. But, to think about it, we've watched some really interesting trials together. We really have. And Stefan Diggs was just the latest of the interesting, right? Afro Man. Edric Faust, Penny McGee, Brian Camp, like all of these amazing, very, very underappreciated and under broadcast trials, in my opinion. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chastity Danielle, for taking the walk down memory lane with me. Lisa W says, arriving late. That's okay. You're excused. Tiny, thank you, Tiny Jesus. Oh, got it. Got Tiny Jesus. What happened? Daughter in wreck, total car when truck pulled out in front of her. Oh my God. When cleaning out her car, found Tiny Jesus. Oh my God. Police said it was a miracle. No one was seriously hurt. Everyone should have a little Tiny Jesus in their kid's car and in your car. Put one in your glove box. Keep one in your pocket. You can buy them for you can buy packs of 30 on Amazon for like $10. The list is below in the show notes. Get on that Amazon list and get yourself your own pack of Tiny Jesuses. And put them in random places where people can find them. I have 5 kids. Listen, cars can be replaced. Property can be replaced. People can't. Praise be. I'm so happy for you. Thanks for your 10, Lisa. And prayers up for your daughter. Here for humanity. Thank you for your super sticker. Carly Gregg trial. That's another one. All right. What's next? Oh, here's what's next. The federal indictment on Myles King. As we pivot, 1 hour and 9 minutes in. Who is Myles King, you say? Well, Myles King might be familiar to you because it is in the Myles King cases that one of our queens, Attorney Rosemary Scapiccio, has been screaming from the rafters and the rooftop and anywhere else that she can scream from that her clients need Proctor's phone extraction because Sean Johnson is one of her clients. Myles King is another one of her clients. And apparently Proctor said such things in his phone, such as, it's killing N-word day in Canton. Everybody come on down. To maybe his cronies or his little friends from elementary school or his fellow troopers and supervisors. We're not really sure who he said that to, but Myles King is Black. And so Rosemary Scapiccio has been saying, listen, he's clearly a misogynist. We know that because of all the things he said about Karen Reed. And also he's racist. And here's just one little example of things that Proctor said. Two, I think that was to Sean Good. It's killing N-word in Canton Day. Myles King is a man who had been held in Norfolk County Pokey for close to 4 years on murder charges. Here's the original Norfolk County DA's office press release for the initial arrest of Myles King, or actually this I think was when the grand jury indicted him. So let's take a look at this. This is from July 11th of 2021. No, a little bit after that. I'm not really sure, but let me just pull it up and maybe I'll find it for you. I try and prepare for these shows and then I get sidetracked and, oh, look, something shiny. Anyway, here's the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office press release. Michael Marcy, Norfolk District Attorney, man indicted for murder, woman for accessory in July shooting. So this was sometime after July 10th of 2021. Contact D. Traub. Remember David Traub? He used to be the the mouthpiece for Michael Marcy's office until he ran away after Karen Reed's first persecution and decided that he was going to get another job. A Norfolk County grand jury has indicted Myles King, age 21, of Milton for the July 10th, 2021 murder of Marquise Simmons. And a woman reported to be in a relationship with King has been indicted as an accessory after the fact of the murder. According to Norfolk District Attorney Michael W. Marcy, King was arrested the day after the murder following an investigation by Milton Police and Massachusetts State Police detectives assigned to Norfolk District Attorney Michael W. Marcy's office. He entered a plea of not guilty at his Quincy District Court arraignment following his arrest and was ordered held without bail. Quote, the indictment issued Friday moves the matter to Norfolk Superior Court, where it will be prosecuted by Assistant District Attorney Adam Lally, District Attorney Marcy said. Mr. King was indicted for first-degree murder, carrying a firearm without a license, carrying a loaded firearm without a license, and possession of a large-capacity firearm. Ms. Brianna Gardner has been indicted for accessory after the fact of murder. The Superior Court has not yet set an arraignment date. Gardner will be summoned to her arraignment. Marquise Simmons had traveled by moped to the Belvoir Road area of Milton just around 6 p.m. on July 10th and dismounted that vehicle. He was shot a few yards from where he had parked. He was rushed to Boston Medical Center but did not survive. King is represented by defense attorney Rosemary Scapiccio. All defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Unless, of course, you're Karen Reed, in which case I, Michael Marcy, will come out and defend everyone who was in the house and Proctor and everyone and tell everyone that Karen Reed's defense is a complete and utter sham and disgrace. And Michael Proctor did not plant tail light and Colin Albert was not in the house, etc. You know the rest. We've seen that film before. Finally, after we saw the film twice, we did like the ending somewhat. But that's the way it goes in Norfolk County. Previous release, 7/11/21, arrest in Milton murder. So this is undated, but after this indictment by the grand jury, it was bumped up to Superior Court. That's what makes me think. Anybody can correct Tom Kokonowski if you're still here. Let me know if this is the thing. So initially, when you're charged with a crime, I feel like in Norfolk County, you're in district court. Then if a grand jury indicts you, they move you up to Superior Court, or does it have to do with the level of the charges? Because Stephon Diggs' strangulation charge was a felony. It was up to 5 years. And so that's what makes me think there was no grand jury involved in that. That's what I'm thinking. And also zero investigation. Tammy just said yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. So then can we extrapolate from there or surmise that Stephon Diggs was not indicted by a grand jury? It was just a basic statement and no investigation. And then let's just bring this man and put him on trial in front of the world. Got it. Yeah. And there was some other interesting information in the Myles King case. I don't know if the victim ID'd him before he passed. I don't know if there's video of it. But I think the evidence against Myles King is pretty good. I think. Hold, please. So that was the press release for the original July of 2021 indictment and charges being filed against Myles King. And then what had happened was Rosemary Scapicchio wasn't getting any discovery in this case. And all of a sudden, it's like 2025 and they're still not turning stuff over to Rosemary Scapicchio. And her client this whole entire time is being held in the Norfolk County Pokey, where the jailhouse barber, I forget his name, you guys remind me of the jailhouse barber. That's exactly what we're talking about, Mimi. What was the jailhouse barber who cut Aiden's hair when he was in jail? And he also cut Harry Turk's hair. And it was like he got his hair cut with a hammer. And Brian Walsh's hair also looked like he got his hair cut with a hammer. Elsie was the barber. That's right. And I thought like they brought in a barber once a week or once a month for the guys in jail, for the inmates to get their haircut. But no, LC was actually also an inmate and he did $5 haircuts. And that's why Harry Turk's hair also looked like it got cut with a hammer. So Myles King is sitting there for years. And then Rosemary Scapicchio eventually files a motion and she's like, hello. It's not, every now and then we got to bring Cardi B on to just like show how everything strains our credulity.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, I'm here.
So Rosemary Scapicchio is like, hello, where's my discovery? Hello, Adam Lally, why aren't you turning anything over? Michael Proctor is the lead investigator in my client's case too, and you're not giving us anything. And so she files a motion to dismiss. And here's the motion to dismiss is very long. I have an older show going over it. It's in the Myles King playlist. You can watch it if you want. It's we went over the whole entire motion to dismiss, but I'm just going to read you a little tiny portion of it for purposes of this stream to catch you up. This was filed in May of 2025. So this is the affidavit in support of the motion to dismiss in the Myles King case, filed by one of our queens, Rosemary Scapicchio. You may remember her from such things as the Netflix documentary Trial 4, which I still haven't watched. I promise I will, maybe sometime when I have a lot of free time. Here it is, the affidavit in support of her motion to dismiss. And the motion to dismiss was for egregious governmental misconduct or prosecutorial misconduct. We also saw that in Karen Reed's case, but, Judge Cannoni didn't buy it. And here's what it says. I, Rosemary Curran Scapicchio, do hereby depose and state the following. I represent Mr. King in the above reference matter. Mr. King is charged with murder. Mr. King has been held without bail since July 11th of 2021. So remember that press release that we just read? Do the math. July of 2021. This is filed May of 2025. He's been there for almost 4 years. The Commonwealth assured me that they have turned over all evidence. That they had turned over all evidence. I prepared King's defense based on the Commonwealth's representations. The trial in this case was scheduled to commence on September 9th of 2025. 5 months before the trial, the Commonwealth produced discovery, including exculpatory information, other suspects, 6 search warrants, DNA reports, additional grand jury minutes, social media searches, cell phone site searches, ping searches, and ballistics evidence. 5 months before the trial. So, like, within 30 days of when she wrote this affidavit. So in 2025, right, he's been there since 2021. They turned over all that stuff just all of a sudden. Was it in a drawer? Did Proctor hide it somewhere? Who knows? The Commonwealth essentially produces their entire case right before trial. The majority of the police reports, photo arrays, search warrants, DNA reports, cell phone and social media searches occurred in 2021. So they've had it since 2021. It's not new information. It's not new experts that they just hired. It's stuff that they've had since 2020. Because of the Commonwealth's late discovery, I will have to start my investigation into this homicide all over again, hire experts, challenge testimony, and file motions to suppress. King's entire defense may change. The Commonwealth failed in its duty to turn over exculpatory evidence, and its failure prejudiced my client, Myles King. I am requesting that King's case be dismissed as a result of egregious prosecutorial misconduct. Signed under the pains and penalties of perjury, 28th of May, 2025. And then what had happened was the judge in this matter said, we're going to have a hearing. We're going to have a hearing about why none of this discovery was turned over, why it took so long. I want an evidentiary hearing before I decide this motion to dismiss, because it's a drastic remedy, right? To dismiss a whole entire case, a whole entire murder case, because people like Adam Lally and Michael Proctor are lazy. It's a drastic remedy. So what I'm going to do, and this is what, in my opinion, I've said from a very long time ago, Judge Cannoni should have done, is he ordered an evidentiary hearing. That was Judge Krupp. We were there. We watched it. We watched the evidentiary hearing in the Myles King case, and Adam Lally took the stand. Do you remember? Does everybody remember this? This was all the way back 9 months ago in July of 2025. I want to watch it again. Do you? Do you want to watch it again? Because maybe some of you haven't seen it. We were on the edge of our seat. We're like, Adam Lally's going to take the stand. What? And then remember the other day in court, Adam Lally shows up and he's sitting by the window trying to look inconspicuous, like taking notes furiously. Remember? Okay, good. I'm glad you want to watch it. Again, shout out to the trial channel so that I can play it fresh for you without my commentary, because we could go back and watch with my commentary, but me watching me is weird. And then, of course, there may be some more things that we do notice in this hearing when Adam Lally took the stand in front of Judge Krupp with his baby shark hairdo. And then it just disappeared. Just poof. Michael Proctor was there with his attorney. They were in the hallway. They were supposed to testify. This is the July 21, 2025 hearing in front of Judge Krupp. Thank you, Trial Channel, for doing the Lord's work and helping us get to the heart of the matter and the meat and potatoes of everything. And, you know, boost, and you get the audio right, and you're doing a great job, and we love it. We love everything that you do. All right. Here it is. It's Judge Krupp. I got to go turn my fan on because it's getting a little warm in here, but I will be right. Give me 2 seconds to do that before I start this. So talk amongst yourselves for 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go.
Certain materials bait stamped in the notice of discovery 28. It's a little difficult for me to figure out whether this is entirely new based on the chart or whether it's some similar document or similar
They
information.
there was a whole argument about bait stamping and all that, but let's get to Adam Lally getting on the stand. There we go. Because this has to do with the late discovery exchange.
She's counsel of record now, and an officer of the court, and I'm confident that we do not need to extend the sequestration order to her. Your objection's preserved, Attorney Costa, to the extent you join in the objection.
I'm joining the objection, Your Honor.
And you have a standing joining of objections, if you wish, all defense counsel.
Thank you.
Okay, but others should be sequestered.
The witnesses are sequestered. Thank you. Now.
Witnesses are sequestered means Michael Proctor was there and they told him he had to leave the room. Okay, here we go. Lally is taking the stand. Melanie, why aren't you showing yesterday's video with the Canton lawyer that went rogue? I don't even know what you're talking about. Why aren't I doing that? Because I'm doing this. Nothing like coming into my chat and telling me what to do. Love that. No, I don't love it.
You solemnly swear the evidence you give the court in the case down here and true the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Lally. In a loud, clear voice, could you please state your name, spelling your first and last name for the record?
Sure. Adam Lally, A-D-A-M, last name L-A-L-L-Y.
And what do you do for a living, Mr. Lally?
Assistant District Attorney with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office.
And how long have you worked for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office?
Since 2005.
20 years?
Yes, almost.
What did you do before you worked for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office?
Started with the District Attorney's Office straight out of law school.
I don't know. Was Proctor not there that day? I don't remember. For purposes of this hearing, does it really matter? I think they came back a second day in August and Proctor was there, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Let's just watch this quickly before I lose my mojo with all of the complaints and move on to something else. Here we go.
Worked a couple warehouse jobs, things like that during.
Sorry,
I worked a few warehouse jobs, things like that during law school. Went to school at night.
Okay. And what school did you go to?
Suffolk.
Suffolk Law?
Yes.
And undergrad?
Undergrad, I went to the University of Southern California.
Okay. And what was your well, at some point, how long were you in the office before you got assigned to the homicide squad? Oh, homicide unit, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure that it's an assignment to the homicide unit. I would say the first homicide that I had outside of the realm of motor vehicle homicide was probably 2015, somewhere in there.
Okay. And let me back up a little. What type of training did the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office offer you in order for you to be able to comply with Rule 14 discovery?
Objection.
Sustained.
So when you started at the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, you started in district court?
Yes.
So she's going to go on and on through his training and experience. What did they teach you when you got to Norfolk County DA's office? Did they tell you how to, about automatic discovery and what you're supposed to automatically turn over and stuff like that? And he knows nothing.
Okay. And how many district court cases would you say you tried?
I have no idea. A lot.
More than 100?
Probably.
Okay. And in all of those cases, were you able to comply with Rule 14 discovery and turn over the discovery that was required under Rule 14?
Objection.
Sustained.
Let me ask you this. The hundreds of cases that you tried in district court, was there ever any
hundreds
allegation that you didn't turn over information?
Objection.
Overruled.
No.
Okay. And then at some point you moved to Superior Court. When was that?
Began working on Superior Court cases probably in 2006, full-time assigned to Superior Court in 2012.
He's working as an attorney for Norfolk DA's office for 20 years. Do you know what his salary was the year that he tried the Karen Reed case? Does anybody remember how much he was being paid after 20 years as a lawyer? Anybody remember? Maybe a little over 100 grand. I'm sure somebody remembers.
When you say full-time assigned to Superior Court, what does that mean?
So what that means is during the interim period from 2006 to 2012, I had cases in Superior Court, but I was primarily assigned to the District Court.
So you were trying cases in the Superior Court, but you were still trying cases in the District Court?
Correct. Actually, I still do that to this day.
You still try cases in the District Court as well?
I do.
Okay. But you said at sometime in 2012, you were assigned to the Superior Court. Does that mean you came here every day?
Correct.
Okay. And what type of cases were you assigned in 2012 when you became a Superior Court DA?
Variety, pretty much ran the whole gamut. Narcotics cases, sexual assault cases, child abuse cases, breaking and entering, armed robbery, whatever I was assigned, that's what I did.
How long after you got to the DA's office did you start trying what they call light felonies?
I don't understand the line of inquiry. Everybody who is in the DA's office is responsible for complying with Rule 14 and is expected to know the confines of Rule 14 and to comply with it. So the backstory here is not particularly useful. What I want to know is what ADA Lally did in this instance.
Understood, Judge. In any event, when were you assigned to the Myles King case? And Brianna Gardner, I'm sorry.
Probably within a day or two.
A day or two of what?
Of the shooting and the murder occurring.
Okay. And how do you get assigned in the district attorney's office? Do they email you? Do they call you? How do they do that?
Objection. Overruled.
I received a call from the first assistant.
Mm-hmm. And who would that have been at the time?
At the time, that would have been ADA Lynn Beeland.
Okay. And did she tell you?
Lynn Beeland also retired from the Norfolk DA's office after Karen Reed's first trial. She ran away too. This is in Myles King. But again, it's all the same players. It's all the same playbook. This is the way they've been doing it for decades. And nobody's ever called him out on it until now.
You were assigned to this homicide case?
Yes.
And what does that mean to you, being assigned to a homicide case? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, at that point, it was an investigation. So as far as assisting with the investigation, should charges arise, handling the prosecution from there out.
Okay, so once you get assigned to the Myles King Brianna Gardner case, is there a policy within the Assistant District Attorney's Office in Norfolk County on how to gather information that's required under Rule 14?
Objection. Overruled.
A specific policy, not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, so
no policy.
There's no policy that you're aware of in the DA's office that that details how to gather information. Is that what you're saying?
Not that specific to that, no. Not that I know of.
So how do you gather information, and how did you gather information in the King Gardner case that was required under Rule 14? What did you do?
Objection. Just specify what is. It's too vague.
Overruled. Question.
That was an attorney appearing for Lally, I think, right? Didn't Lally bring an attorney with him to this hearing? If you're unclear about what's going on, I always have a banner scrolling at the bottom of your screen. This is the July 21st, 2025 motion to dismiss evidentiary hearing in the Myles King case. Myles King has just been arrested by the feds for dealing crack and fentanyl to your children in Norfolk County, maybe, because he was out on bail because of what Lally and Proctor did. So we're just giving a little lore on what it is that Lally and Proctor did, because Lally is telling us what he did or didn't do before Krupp put a stop to this hearing. There we go.
What did you do?
So what I
think we can take it in chronological order. We'll start at the beginning and then we'll have follow-up questions.
Sure. So what I do is what I do in every case, depending on how many different departments are involved. In this case, there was a local department and state police involvement. So I would make appropriate requests for any and all information that they had, any information that, specifically I could outline or delineate as far as what I felt was relevant. And
stop right there. How would you make those requests?
Typically what I would do is write out a formal discovery request, submit the form to any involved departments, and communicate either via phone or email to whoever the relevant party was that I was requesting discovery from.
When you say discovery forms, what do you put on, what did you put on the form in this case for Gardner and King?
Initially, it would be for any and all police reports, any and all photographs, any and all information as to who was present, lab reports, if they had access to fire department, run reports, any lab personnel that responded to the scene.
But he'll go on to say that he doesn't really keep track of anything. He doesn't really follow up on anything. He doesn't have any kind of, again, my calendar. Where are my calendar, girls? Usually it's girls that do the calendar job. But, you know, guys do it too. So if you're a calendar clerk at any law firm, you have a tickler system, right? Tell everybody in the chat what a tickler system is. Like little reminders that pop up, like reminder, follow up with Proctor on the discovery we're still waiting for. He apparently didn't have any of that. There's no system. It was like Proctor would walk by and he'd be like, hey, yo, did you get me that stuff? And he'd be like, hey, yo, I'll look for it. Trust me, bro. Meanwhile, Myles King is sitting in jail in the pokey for 4 years because his case hasn't gone to trial yet because they're holding back discovery.
You know, so that I would have an idea as to whether or not there was testing that was going to be conducted or items have been recovered from the scene. Copies of any and all search warrants, including applications, affidavits, copy of the warrants, any returns.
And let me stop you there. Do you have a memory in this case of asking for all the information?
And this was the Zoom feed, which is why it's kind of like wonky. I don't think that any mainstream media was in the courthouse that day. Wait, let me just make this a little bit. Boop. So it's kind of blurry, I know, but it's better to be able to see him and his little baby shark hairdo than have a far away. So he's a little closer in the frame.
Information that you just told you normally ask. Did you do that in the Brianna Gardner and Myles King case? Did you ask for all of that information?
Yes, and just for clarity purposes, when I'm initially doing this, it's not the Myles King and Brianna Gardner case.
It's just an investigation.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, and more to that point, Ms. Gardner didn't become a focus of the investigation until later on.
Okay. So while you were investigating without a defendant being a suspect, at least not initially, you asked which departments for this information?
The State Police, Norfolk County Detective Unit, as well as the Milton Police.
I can't hear you. What's the last one?
Milton Police.
Milton Police. Okay, so you asked Milton Police, you asked the State Police. Who in Milton Police did you ask, and who in the State Police did you ask to send information?
The Milton Police would have been, at that time, Lieutenant Michael Collins. The State Police would have been Trooper Michael Proctor, as he was a case officer, and Lieutenant Brian Tully.
Oh,
and so you have emails going to all
I'm glad
three.
we're watching this. Glad we're watching this again from 2025. He kept asking Proctor and Tully for it. He kept asking Proctor and Tully for the discovery in the Myles King case. Did they have to proctor it first? Did they have to invent it first? Did they have to backdate stuff first? Is that why it took you 4 years to turn it over? Oh, there was no system. But Tully just retired.
Of them asking for all of the information that you just listed, which would be normal information that you'd ask in any case after a homicide. Is that right?
Yes.
And did let's just take Mr. Proctor, Trooper Proctor, did he respond to you?
Yes.
And what did he provide you?
At varying...
No, to the extent he recalls, he can testify.
So at varying times, there were different productions of material, whether it was what was available at that time. So initially it would have been just whatever reports were available at that time. Later on would have been photographs, video.
So how often would you say you emailed or communicated with the State Police, and specifically Trooper Proctor or Trooper Tully, regarding discovery in this case?
I cannot tell you how many times via email, but I mean, it was a constant conversation, particularly throughout the grand jury process as far as discovery was concerned.
Okay. So when you say a constant process, was there a time period where you asked for stuff and you didn't get it, so you were re-asking for it, or is it always new information that you're getting from the State Police?
I think it would vary. I think there were certainly items that I probably had to ask for more than once, but there were definitely items that I had asked for and was provided promptly, and then moved on from there to either additional information or that avenue was complete.
So do you keep records of, I asked for search warrants, I asked for crime lab stuff, I asked for witness statements? Do you keep records when you receive that information to be able to check off to say, I got these things, they're no longer outstanding, and the rest of this is?
I mean, I keep records in the sense of a list of items I'm looking for. And obviously when I receive something, then yeah, that would get checked off the list as far as I'm not looking for that anymore because I have it.
Okay. So if you got a set of grand jury minutes from a witness that you know testified in front of the grand jury, you'd check that off your list.
Well, as far as yes, I mean, I was at the grand jury, so I know who testified at the grand jury. But as far as receiving the minutes, yes, I'm aware of the dates. And when I receive the minutes, then that would check that off the list.
I missed, I think, a question and answer, one question earlier. I think the question was, do you keep records of what you requested? What was your answer to that question?
No.
So records, as far as what was requested, I would always have, at least in some form, some sort of running list of items I was looking for. And then if I received an item, then that would be something that would be off the list. Now that list would be obviously added to as information develops, and there might be additional items that I'm looking for.
And presumably because it's on the list, you've made the request?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's the list?
And so you'd have whatever's on the list, you'd have emails requesting that information. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then if they emailed back, you'd have checks off of your list that you got whatever it was that, you know, maybe you were asking for 10 things and you got 5. You'd check those 5 things off your list. Is that right?
Yes.
Is there any other mechanism you used to document what you got from, just right now we're talking about the state police, Trooper Tully and Trooper Proctor?
I'm sorry, any other mechanism of doing what again?
Keeping track of what they're producing for you. Is it all just emails and check marks on a list? Or is there some other way that you keep track as well?
No, I mean, it would be something that I would have a list of items that are outstanding that would be, you know, followed up on if they hadn't been received at that point, and then I would follow up with whoever the appropriate person was to get copies of those.
And these lists remain in the file? Your lists with the check marks remain in the file?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And have you reviewed any of them before you testified here today?
No.
Okay. No. Is there a reason you didn't review the file before you testified here today?
I don't have the file.
You work for the DA's office, right?
It strains credulity. I don't have the file. Sir, you showed up here with a lawyer today to testify. You work for the DA's office. You could clearly pull out the file and review it before you came in here to testify about why it took you more than 4 years or almost 4 years to turn over basic items of discovery that were in the file since 2021. And now that we know that Proctor and Tully were both involved, I forgot about Tully. What excuse will he give next?
I do.
And it's in the DA's office, right?
Yes.
And you knew you were going to be asked questions about this case, right?
Yes.
And you didn't do anything to educate yourself about what you did initially on the case?
Objection. This is her witness.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that as an objection, but I'm going to sustain the objection as to the relevance. He did not review the file. Next question.
So what did you review in preparation for your testimony here today?
Lally's attorney got mad because she's being argumentative, and she's the one who called him to the stand. And even Krupp is like, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. All roads lead to Tully.
I reviewed portions of the file. I reviewed some of the items that have been produced by ADA Hickman. I reviewed search warrants. I reviewed police reports. I reviewed, you were asking me specifically as far as checklists or notations. I didn't review those, but I did review, I have portions of the file. I have access to the file, and I did review portions of the file.
Okay. So you did review portions of the file?
Yes. Oh, yes.
You just didn't review your checklist?
No.
Okay. Now, in terms of the Milton Police Department, do you also have emails going back and forth to the Milton Police Department asking for certain documents?
Yes.
And who in the police, would that be Lieutenant Collins?
Yes.
Anyone else in the Milton Police Department were you looking for documents from?
On this case, I don't believe so, no.
And did you keep the same type of list that you kept for the state police of outstanding things that you were looking for the Milton Police Department?
Yes.
And what did you get back from the Milton Police Department? Do you remember?
Items of similar nature that they had access to, as far as police reports, photographs. I don't believe Milton did any of the search warrants in this case, but other items of of discovery, video that they recovered, that there's a litany of different items.
A litany of different items? Did you
Yes.
say? Okay. And those would all be memorialized by email? Is that how you did it?
Yes, that's, I think, what Mr. McGee attached as Exhibit 1. It's about 137 pages.
Of emails back and forth between the Milton Police Department and you?
Correct.
And so at what point do you know that you have all of, so other than, strike that, Milton Police, State Police, any other person or entity that you sought information for in this case?
Certainly.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Who's that?
Be the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, be the State Police Crime Lab. There were some items that were outsourced to Bodie Technology Lab in Lorton, Virginia, where they did some additional forensic testing pursuant to DNA. They have different methods that our lab does not.
Oh, so they're using Bodie DNA also in Myles King? Interesting. Thank you, Mama She, for your very generous 50 through Cash App. She says, I was going to send more, but then I remembered being in trouble. Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. He can use your prayers. The link for his video that you can watch after is in the show notes below the video. And thank you, Betsy, for your memo. Says XOXO, XOXO.
Milton Fire Department, I believe Fallon paramedics were involved in the transport of the victim, Mr. Simmons. That's all I can think of at this point.
Okay. And would you communicate with those agencies the same way you communicated with the State Police and the Milton Police via email?
For the most part, could have been phone call on some of those.
All right, so let's stop there. If there was a phone call, how did you memorialize what you requested and what they said in a phone call?
Notes.
You have individual notes?
Yes.
And where would those notes be right now?
In the file.
Okay. So do you keep like a running page of all the notes that you've taken in the case with communications that you had with all of the other entities and officers in State Police in this case?
Not all in one location, but it would be sort of divided up by different entities as far as what I was requesting from that specific entity and what I was looking for, what I was still waiting for, what was still outstanding, things of that nature.
Okay. So what happens when you ask for something, let's just say from the State Police, and they don't give it to you? What's the next thing you do?
The next thing I do would be to ask for it again.
Okay. How many times do you ask for it before you have a meeting with the State Police to look at their file?
Objection. The biggest objection I have here is that we're not speaking about any individual document, any individual date, vague questions about
this is general practice, generally Mr. Lally's practice. I think part of the issue here is we don't have very specific items that are being referred to. Right. But I think I'm going to overrule the objection and give Attorney Scapicio a little bit of leeway here in terms of general.
Good. Because this is why Myles King was let out of jail, folks. This is why. It's the Lally Proctor Tully trifecta.
Practice.
So in general, how many times do you email for the same document before you go to the State Police and start to have a sit down with them?
I think it varies. I think it would be depending on a lot of different factors as far as what the item is, what the explanation is for why I don't have it yet, whether it's not available or whether it's something that they're currently working on, or if it's something that I know has been completed and I've asked for it multiple times and I still don't have it. I'm not saying that even happened in this case, but if in a general practice, if that were something that were going on, then yes, I would want to sit down with somebody and figure out exactly what's going on.
Okay. So let me ask specific questions about this case. When you reached out, let's start with Trooper Proctor, in this case, looking for information, and there were emails back and forth. Were there any occasions where you did not get the documents or the information that you were seeking from Trooper Proctor?
I don't recall anything specific other than if it was a situation where I'm looking for a report about something and that report hasn't been completed yet, or that item hasn't been obtained yet for whatever reason. But I don't recall in this case ever asking for something and just not getting it.
For 4 years?
Do you remember asking Trooper Proctor for the search warrants that he did in this case?
Yes,
And the affidavits accompanying the search warrants?
yes.
And did he provide them to you?
What I received was a partial affidavit for search warrant.
Stop there. Did he provide them to you, yes or no?
Some.
How many search warrants do you recall there being in the King Gardner case?
In 2021 or beyond?
Let's start with 2021. How many search warrants? You guys pulled the search warrants?
6.
6 search warrants. Did he, when you asked, and he signed all 6 search warrants, is that fair to say?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Hang on. No, that is not why he's back in jail for not obeying his curfew, Auntie. I'm going to tell you why he's back in jail. He was dealing fentanyl and crack. I've got the indictment. We're leading up to that, but that is not why the FBI picked him up. There's nothing to do with any kind of curfew. So I'm just going to delete that so people don't get confused or misled. Moving on.
Okay. And so when did you ask Trooper Proctor for the search warrants?
In July or August of 2021 when they were filed for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when did you get all 6 search warrants from Trooper Proctor?
I didn't get all 6 search warrants from Trooper Proctor.
You did not?
I did not.
Okay. So did you get 1 search warrant from him?
From him specifically, I received a portion of the affidavit for search warrant 306 and the entire affidavit for search warrant 348.
Oh.
Okay.
So he got 1.5 affidavit. Oh. 1.5. Hold on.
Received a portion of the affidavit for search warrant 306 and the entire affidavit for search warrant 348.
1.5 out of 6.
Okay. So you got portions of 2 search warrants and you knew there were 6 search warrants. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you make notes somewhere in your file? Geez, I asked Trooper Proctor for these 6 search warrants. He hasn't given them to me yet?
I believe, yes.
Okay. Those notes are in your file?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And then when you didn't get search warrants from Trooper Proctor, did you meet with him?
Yes, I mean, specific to that, I don't recall any specific meeting related to search warrants, but we did meet several times in relation to this investigation in this case.
But you understand that search warrants are Rule 14 automatic discovery, right? And you knew there were 6 search warrants, right?
I did.
And so when do you realize that you don't have all 6 search warrants? How long into the process? Do you know right away you don't have them all? Or do you not know for a long time you don't have them all?
And a lot of you are pointing
I
this
don't think
out.
I
Yes,
realized at that.
It's like Mark Betterow always says. He had 0 intellectual curiosity, Lally. He's making his, I don't know, 120 a year after 20 years at the DA's office. I'm sorry. But for a 20-year lifer in a DA's office, it's just not a lot of money. I don't know how anybody could live in Norfolk County on 120 grand a year. You just can't. It's just a reality of it. He has 0 intellectual curiosity, and he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
Time that I didn't have them all.
So then I guess I'm confused about how your system works. You said you had a system where if you asked for something and you didn't get it, you would then follow up with the police officer asking again and again. Did you do that with Trooper Proctor in this case with the 6 search warrants?
Yes, I believe so.
How many times did you email Trooper Proctor asking for the 6 search warrants?
I don't know.
More than 10?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. How far in between each email? Did you wait a month and email him again? Did you wait a week? Did you wait a day? How long in between your requests to Trooper Proctor to produce the 6 search warrants in this case?
I don't know.
You don't?
No.
Did you review your emails before you came here today?
Some of them, yes.
Did you see any emails to and from Trooper Proctor regarding the search warrants?
Yes.
How many did you see?
I don't recall.
More than 5?
Yes.
More than 10?
I don't know.
What are the dates of the first time you asked Trooper Proctor for the search warrant?
Specific date, I don't know.
How long before the next time you asked him for a sick search warrant?
Specifically, I don't know.
Was it months or weeks?
Weeks.
Weeks later. Okay,
Yes.
so that's 2 times you asked him. What about the third time? How much time went by?
I don't know.
Months or weeks?
I don't know.
What about the fourth time?
Okay. Maybe if you live in Norfolk County and you've lived there your whole entire life and you inherited your parents' house and there's no mortgage on it and your property taxes are super low, maybe you could live on 120 grand a year. But if someone new is moving into Norfolk County, I don't know what the average age of cost of a home is there, but the rents are not that cheap. And what I'm saying is he's not making a lot of money for a lawyer who's been with the office for 20 years. And also he doesn't seem to care about his job. So it's not shocking to me that he's Johnny Punch Clock.
Again, I don't know how many times and I don't know specific dates.
So I guess my question is, how does your system work if you're not getting the discovery that you're asking a police officer for, and you're asked for it, let's just say 5 times? What do? Do you go to the office and you sit down and say, give me these search warrants, I have to turn them over?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Did you do that in this case?
Yes.
You go to Trooper Proctor and say, give me the search warrants because I have to turn them over.
Yes.
When did you do that?
Sometime prior to the defendant's arraignment in December of 21.
November of 21, did you say?
December of 21.
December of 21. So when you get to his office, do you go there or do you tell him to come to your office? I don't know how that works.
Either way, I don't
Remember how you met about the search warrants the first time? In other words, did he come to you or you go to him?
I don't know.
Okay. So you have a sit down.
Yes.
And you ask him for the 6 search warrants. And what does he say?
He will get them to me.
He will get them to you.
Yes.
Okay. If you tell him I have an obligation to turn this over because it's Rule 14 discovery, I need it right away, I've asked for it 5 times, what's the deal?
Those specific words, no, but the gist, yes.
Well, tell me what you said specifically.
I don't know.
Well, give me a best estimate of what you said to Trooper Proctor after you asked 5 times the search warrants that he didn't turn over.
Sustained.
Why is
LALLY? Did you keep any notes of your conversations with Trooper Proctor when you were asking for these 6 search warrants that he didn't give you?
No.
Why not?
It was something that I knew that was outstanding. It was something that I had asked for in written form numerous times. I didn't feel the need to write a note that I asked for it again.
So that's the first sit down. Did you send emails after the first sit down saying, hey, you promised me you're going to send these 6 search warrants, I still don't have them?
Objection, assuming facts.
Overruled.
Why is he showing up?
Repeat the question?
Send another email to Trooper Proctor.
Why is he showing up to this evidentiary hearing with his own lawyer? Who do you think the boss is over there? You think Tully's the boss? Or do you think the district, Adam Lally's the boss? It's more like they're telling him what to do. And they'll give him what they give him when they feel like giving it to him, if they feel like it. If not, they don't care. Because as Proctor said, hey, it's Kill an N-word in Canton Day today. Everybody come on down.
Proctor, after you had the sit down at sometime in December of 2021, saying, hey, you still didn't send those 6 search warrants, can you send them over?
Yes.
How far after Mr. King's arraignment in December of 2021 did you send that email to Trooper Proctor?
I don't know.
Was it a year?
I don't think so, no.
What do you think? What's your best estimate of when you sent that email after you sat down with Trooper Proctor?
I would say probably a few months later.
All right. A few months.
Yes.
So February, March of 2022, is that what you're thinking?
I don't recall specifically.
So when you're in this room with Trooper Proctor asking about the 6 search warrants, do you ask him for his file? Like, give me your whole file so I can go through it and figure out what's in it?
No.
Why not?
Do you think Lally was afraid?
You're there.
You think Lally was afraid of Proctor?
There's outstanding discovery. You have the obligation, not the police officer. Why don't you ask?
I entrusted that whatever discovery I was requesting, I would get at some point in a timely fashion and then turn it over.
But you didn't get it. You asked for it 5 times. You didn't get
You trusted. That was your first mistake.
it. You had to go see him. You have him right there now, and you still don't say, give me your file? Let me go through it?
No, I did not.
And when he says you'll get the search warrants, I'll send them to you. Did he have them? Did he have copies of the search warrants? He just wasn't giving them to you?
That I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Well,
He didn't show up today because he was on vacation.
you don't get the search warrants in any event after that sit down, and you send another email. What's Trooper Proctor's response to that email?
Again, I don't know that I sent another email, but I know that there were subsequent conversations about it. Whether it was what format it was in, I don't know.
Okay, and at this point, you have to be getting a little upset with Trooper Proctor that you're asking for information that he's not giving you, right?
Objection.
Overruled.
Were you getting upset with?
I'm sorry, your question again?
You have to be getting a little upset at Trooper Proctor that you're asking him for information that he's not giving you, right?
I would say upset, frustrated probably.
I'm sorry?
Frustrated probably.
Oh. Judge, can we approach sidebar just briefly?
Frustrated.
I know.
Sure.
He was working on Karen Reed and could care less on Myles King case. Here's the thing: Myles King case
ADA Lally, a couple of
in July of 2021. He had all this. John O'Keefe wasn't murdered until January of 2022. Karen Reed's charges were not upgraded to superior court level until July of 2022. So he had a full year to turn over all the search warrants that existed in his file. They had them all. He just didn't care. So he can't even use the Karen Reed case as an excuse here.
a month goes by, you still don't have the 6 search warrants. What do you do?
That's awesome.
I don't know. I mean, I specific to the 6 search warrants, I don't recall as far as there was a topic that was discussed repeatedly. Obviously, I never received them because I never provided them to you or to Ms. Costa.
Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is you knew they existed and you knew that, let me just say this, you knew that all 6 search warrants existed. Is that right?
Yes, we went through all six of the search warrants on the last day of the grand jury presentation on November 19th, 2021. That's in the grand jury minutes as far as going through each of the materials, each of the search warrants, that they were search warrants, how that material was obtained, and the material that was...
So you had them all in November of 2021. You just never turned them over for 4 years. And you can't explain it now. Just like, whatevs, no big whoop. We can let a guy sit in the jail for 4 years while we dilly-dally around. What a joke. What a joke this county has become. I'm sorry, I know a lot of you live there. And you should be outraged.
Returned in response to 3 of the search warrants was marked as grand jury exhibits 33, 34, and 35.
And this is just going to go on. It's like word salad that's going to go on for another, I don't know, how many more minutes? Go to Trial Channel if you want to watch the whole entire thing, but it's basically abada. He's got no excuse for anything. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. So what eventually happens, let's just see how this ends.
What date was the case transferred from you to ADA Hickman?
Then he's like, oh, I got taken off the case. So, it wasn't really my responsibility anymore. Because I think he got taken off the case like in October.
Portion on what page are we on?
Yes.
You can read from here over to here.
Okay.
Yourself, please.
Sure.
Can I refresh your memory? ADA Lally that you indicated to the court that, get this exactly right, there may be a couple of outstanding pieces that I'll check on and some other pieces that I was speaking to Ms. Costa about, but hopefully by the March 11th date, we should be able to.
It's like you kept promising you were going to give it to us. You kept saying you were going to give it to us. Then you said all of the discovery was exchanged. And then all of a sudden, 5 months before my trial date, I'm all of a sudden getting all of this discovery from 4 years ago, even though you filed your certificate of compliance and told us that you gave us everything. But you just didn't, right? And you just didn't care. And it goes on like this until Krupp puts a stop to it. And it was nowhere near finished.
Yes.
What did you tell her?
That, during the regular trial preparation or meeting with the officers as it gets closer to trial, I would do that, but I hadn't done that yet.
No, he didn't do anything. He didn't do shit about shit.
I
And then
still
what had
kinda
happened was
understand.
Krupp says something
I would-
like, wait, hold on.
Next dates?
Hold on.
I want to make sure I have everything. Do you sit down and do that at some point to make sure everything you requested, you've received?
My general practice would be yes, and that would be as I know we're getting closer to a trial date.
Attorney Scapiccio, it's a little after 11, and we're going to be able to go until about 11:10. And then I have to break because we're going to have to do the motions to suppress on the two other matters. So we need to think about an appropriate time to break. Maybe now is a good time to break, and we need to talk about another date.
Krupp just wants to cut it right off. He wants to cut it right off because he can tell this is not going in favor of the Commonwealth. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's quickly abort, and make Lally come back another day, and maybe Proctor can show up the other day too. So it gets put over to a day in August.
When we can come back up down. Thank you.
And then it doesn't happen. Goodbye, Lally.
Discovery is docket number 8, your motion to join. But in any event,
And then it doesn't happen because you can go on trial challenge. You can find the next date in August, and it didn't happen. Okay. Proctor never testified. This hearing never continued. They let Lally go, and he never had to answer or explain himself again. And then what had happened was, but wait, there's more, because there always is. Wait a second. When was this hearing? This hearing was in July. Hold, please. This hearing was in July. Okay, so this was actually before the hearing. So before this hearing on the motion to dismiss, June 2nd, Judge Doolin issued an order because they also made a motion to let Myles King out on bail. And so this came out June 2nd. This was Judge Doolin's order regarding bail. The defendant, and this is Myles King, again, the defendant has requested a review of his bail due to late discovery provided by the Commonwealth. A hearing was held on May 29th of 2025. That was a bail hearing. The defendant has been held without bail for the past 4 years. He has a minimal record, but he does have a pending firearm case in this court. The Commonwealth asserts that it has a strong case against the defendant. The Commonwealth has recently provided the defendant with hundreds of pages of additional discovery, including 6 search warrants, forensic reports, investigators' notes, police reports, and other documents, which have not previously been turned over to the defendant despite the age of the case. The court has balanced the factors set forth in the bail statute and the Commonwealth v. Brangen. The defendant has been in custody for 4 years. He has a strong family support and a minimal record. However, he is charged with murder, and the case, at least on the surface, looks strong. The court sets bail at $100,000 cash with a GPS before release and home confinement. He's ordered to stay away and have no contact with any witness in the case. XOXO, Judge Doolin. Okay. Myles King is let out on or around June 2nd of 2025 on $100,000 cash. And then the reason that he's out on the street is because of the delay in the discovery turnover by Proctor, Tully, Lally, all the people who just do not give a shit in Norfolk County. And so they let a potential murderer out on bail because they kind of have to, because, civil rights and all. And then what had happened was yesterday, let's take a look at the federal indictment on Myles King. When Myles King was out on bail, he was conspiring and or actually did sell fentanyl and cocaine. Of course, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, but the feds are still there and they're still working. And here it is. This is the indictment that came down yesterday, May 6, 2026, against 7 defendants, including Myles King. He would still be in custody if only Adam Lally and Proctor and Tully turned over a discovery in a timely fashion. But no, here he is with 6 other defendants. I'm just going to call them by their nicknames. Here are the defendants. The United States of America versus Poncho, Champ, EBK, Myles King, a.k.a. Mizzy Cash, Frenchie, a girl named Jillian, and a guy named Jiggy. All right? Poncho, Champ, EBK, Mizzy Cash, Frenchie, Jillian, and Jiggy. There are, let's see, 23 counts in this federal indictment. And many of them do not pertain to Myles King. So for purposes of this stream, we are just going to look at what is included for Myles King. Myles King does not even come into the indictment. The jiggy is up. Well done. The jiggy is up. He doesn't even come into this complaint until count 16. So there's some firearms charges, and apparently there's a couple guys in here that were that are charged with firearms dealing. So the ATF was involved. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. 4 of the guys were conspiring to deal illegal firearms, and they did some overt acts in furtherance of their conspiracy. And then when we finally get, and it's all the things, all the guns that they tried to sell to the undercovers, it looks like. And then we get, so he was let out when? In June, I said June of 2025. We got to go all the way to count 16 to find out what, if anything, Myles King did. Here it is. Count 16, conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute controlled substances. Remember, he also had an ankle monitor on. And there had been, like, during some of the hearings, there had been, like, some scuffle, like, he forgot to tell them that he moved or something, or probation forgot to write down that he moved. And so they violated him once, but then they were like, oh, well, they didn't really violate him because he moved and it was an error internally. And maybe one time he got home late or something, but no big whoop. So apparently, count 16 is conspiracy involving these 4 defendants in Boston, but from at least October of 2025 through on or about April 9th of 2026. Remember, he got out in June. So within 4 months, he was apparently conspiring with Poncho, Frenchie, and Jiggy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute controlled substances, including 400 grams or more of fentanyl, and 28 grams or more of crack cocaine. Innocent until proven guilty. So there was the conspiracy charge. That's count 16. And then he's also included in a couple other counts. This is major federal charges. It's a big deal. But again, he'd still be in custody, likely, on the murder charges that he's been alleged of committing if it weren't for your friends, Proctor, Sully, and Adam Lally. So when Michael Proctor's attorney got up the other day in open court, I don't even remember what hearing it was at this point, and said, hasn't Michael Proctor been through enough? He's such a fine, upstanding trooper. For years and years and years, he kept drugs away from your kids' schools. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? He was the lead investigator on Myles King, who was just indicted and picked up maybe today or yesterday on fentanyl and crack cocaine distribution charges. Ironic, don't you think? Here it is, March 11th, 2026. Count 21 we had to get to. In East Falmouth, the defendants Poncho and Myles King did knowingly and intentionally distribute 28 grams or more of crack cocaine. And then in Weymouth, March 27th, 2026, Myles King and Jiggy did also knowingly and intentionally distribute 28 grams or more of crack cocaine. And count 23, April 22nd, 2026 in Weymouth, Myles King did distribute knowingly and intentionally 28 grams or more of crack cocaine. Anybody live in Weymouth? He's Mizzy Cash. I think that he was a rapper or something, maybe. I don't know. Is that his rapping name or is that like a gang name? I don't really know. And then there's a drug forfeiture allegation that any money that they made or any property derived from any proceeds from their drug deals or drug sales need to be forfeited, maybe, if, it gets to that. And so, firearm forfeiture, but he wasn't involved in the firearms because at least he knew that as a felon, he wasn't supposed to have a gun or deal in guns. And that was signed by the federal grand juror. And so now Myles King will probably stay. It was dated yesterday, May 6, 2026. He'll probably stay in federal custody pending his murder case. So that's who you've got to thank in Norfolk County. Better want what you wish for, I guess. Myles King, you want to get out on bail. You really, really, really want to get out. And then what had happened was you just can't control yourself and you got to get right back into the game of some sort. Allegedly. Mass Live reported on this. Here's what they say about it. Although they spelled Miles with an I and we know it's with a Y. Massachusetts man awaiting trial on murder charge sold cocaine, fentanyl while out on bail, the feds say. A Massachusetts man free on bail while he awaits trial on a murder charge was arrested by federal authorities on Thursday. Oh, that was today. He was arrested today. On drug and gun charges. Well, he wasn't in the gun charges, so maybe they didn't read the indictment like I did. In connection with a wide-ranging investigation into gang activity in the eastern part of the state. Myles King is one of 7 defendants indicted by federal prosecutors on charges including conspiracy to distribute and possession with intent to distribute controlled substances and aiding and abetting the distribution of 28 grams or more crack, fentanyl, etc. Prosecutors are asking that King and the other defendants be detained pending trial. So there's that. A Norfolk Superior Court judge allowed King's release on bail in June 2025 after his murder trial was delayed due to the late disclosure of hundreds of pages of evidence, including search warrants. His bail was set at $10,000 cash, with conditions requiring home confinement and GPS monitoring. But wait, didn't we just read that it was $100,000 in cash? Mask Live is reporting $10,000 in cash. Maybe it was $100,000 bond and $10,000. I don't know. So that's a discrepancy. Prosecutor did not object to his release. By the time he was released, King had been in jail for about 3.5 years. It was like close to 4. In an affidavit filed in court to support the government's request for King to be held without bail in the federal case, John Christensen, a special agent with the Bureau of ATF, writes that when King was bailed out in 2025, members of the group Self-Made, is that a gang name? Self-Made picked him up in a Sprinter van and gave him $20,000 in cash. Prosecutors say King is a member of the Johnston Road Gang, itself an offshoot of the Columbia Point Dogs, DAWGS, a gang that was the subject of a federal takedown in 2015. The investigation that led to the federal charges was conducted over 7 months, during which time agents purchased 18 guns, more than 300 grams of powdered fentanyl, approximately 62 grams of fentanyl pressed pills, and approximately 175 grams of crack cocaine. Christensen pinned the sale of crack cocaine on Myles King, writing that he sold the drugs to a cooperating witness. After arranging drug buys through another defendant, Ron Williams, the epicenter of the scheme, I forget what his nickname was. Wait, I'll tell you. He was Poncho. The witness would meet King or a runner sent to him to complete the purchase. This was a total undercover op who let the dogs out. Well done, Michelle. DAWGS. King is accused of selling 57 grams of crack cocaine and 3 grams of fentanyl to the witness on March 11th. At the time, he told the witness, "I got everything you need. Help me help you. I want to make money with you, not off you," according to the affidavit. He also asked the witness if he could blend the fentanyl, according to Christensen. King met Williams while they were both housed at a jail in Plymouth County, according to the affidavit. Records show King was housed there for at least part of the time his state murder case was pending. Oh, so I stand corrected then. I guess he wasn't held in the Norfolk County Pokey. He was partially held in jail at Plymouth, and that's where they met and struck up this drug dealing relationship. Somebody said they knew he was going to walk on the murder charges, so they had to get him on something. That's a great point. That's a great point. Maybe that's what had happened. Because oftentimes the Fed, look what happened with Matthew Farwell. The feds had to step in to arrest him because Norfolk County was not, Norfolk County it would still be a suicide for Sandra Birchmore if Norfolk County had their way. Matthew Farwell didn't do anything wrong. They quickly cleared him in a school parking lot in a cruiser. John Fanning did. Rosemary Scapicchio, who represents Myles King in the state case, said she couldn't comment on the federal charges. Oh man, she must be pissed. Oh, and here it is. In July of 2021, when he was he's accused of killing Marquise Simmons, justice for Marquise Simmons, in Milton. Simmons was found lying on the grass between the street and the sidewalk on that road with a gunshot wound to his upper chest and shoulder. As first responders worked on him, Marquise Simmons told police, when police said, "Do you know who shot you?" He said, Mizzy Cash, according to a court filing. And then it goes on to talk about how King's case is related to Michael Proctor, as we just discussed, and we know all the rest of the details. And so that is that. Thoughts, questions, comments, and concerns before we move on. Mr. Perfect, thank you for your 5. If Murdoch goes back to trial, will you cover that case? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'll be there for every minute of it. Alec Murdoch's first trial was before I even thought about being on YouTube. And so if that case goes back to trial, oh, yes, I will be there. I do think that he will get a new trial. That decision was supposed to come down from the Supreme Court of South Carolina. It was people thought it was going to happen this week. It hasn't come down yet, but I think Becky Hill and what she did was egregious. We did watch, didn't we watch the Supreme Court oral arguments on Murdoch? I think we did. I don't know. All the shows are blending together. Hubert says, "Hi, Mel and chat. Am I the only one so tired of waiting for people to be charged in Sandra and John's deaths?" No, you're not alone. 5+ years for Sandra, 4+ years John, and I am losing hope by the minute, ready to move out of Canton. Well, I can't tell you what to do, Hubert, but thoughts and prayers? It's horrifying. No, you're not the only one. Thank you, Hubert, for your 10. JP says, I don't know if King is guilty in this case. Probably. That is irrelevant in the fact that Norfolk DA and MSP screwed this case up so bad, the Fed's case is on him. Look at Missy Nick said, I met another cupcake at my barbershop in Quincy the other day. He got a haircut. I wish I could. It's your barbershop in Quincy. We talked about your barbershop the other day in Quincy. Shout out to your barbershop. They put me on the TV in the barbershop. And I love that. JP says, imagine if the public could sue DA's office for ineffective counsel. Yeah, imagine. Let's see, 5. Charissa, hi. Says, thanks, Melanie and Cupcakes, for keeping me company while getting ready to move on Sunday. Oh, congratulations. Moving is the worst. It's up there with like the top 5 most stressful events in one's life, including death, divorce. Moving is right up there. The packing, I hate it. Hate it. Thank you. Thank you for your 5. And good luck on your move. Jenny Lyon says, I just want to say I love you and your content. Thank you so much. And you're the best at this. You're A1 in my opinion. You're my go-to. Oh, I love that. And look at all the exclamation points you gave me. Oh, thank you so much. I love you so much. I love you with all my heart. But as you soon, I'm going to die. Thanks, Jenny, for your 10. Jen X, Jenny, I am. Trial 4 is worth the binge watch. I know everyone's telling me that. I just don't have the time because I've now fallen into season 2 of Your Friends and Neighbors because John Hamm. So if anybody's watching that, let me know. I really like it a lot. Poe Hunters says, I checked and it looks like Stephon Diggs was not indicted by a grand jury. Thank you. Because, you know, if a grand jury heard Mila Adams' testimony, do you think they would have indicted him? You tell me. You tell me. Moving is the worst. I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, thanks, Rivers Mom. She says your eyes the exact color of your background. Oh, I did that on purpose. Actually, they change. It depends on what I wear. A lot of people with blue eyes, same way. Like if you wear green, your eyes are a little more green, etc. All right. Music to My Soul says, unfortunately, it's going to be hard for them to successfully prosecute anyone else for John O'Keefe's death after attempting to convict Karen Reed for it twice, but I still hope they can solve it someday. I don't know. I wouldn't give up hope. There's no statute of limitations on murder, so don't give up hope. You never know what could happen, right? And then again, when people say, oh, it's so ridiculous, so many people would have to be involved in a conspiracy, I point you again to Chappaquiddick and Hyannisport and all of the people that were involved in conspiring to cover up what Ted Kennedy did that night involving the death of Mary Jo Kopechne. A lot of people, a lot of high level, a lot of people in government, including the Attorney General was involved in that. Five Flux says, where's Ashton Kutcher? Where we've been punked. All right, let's see. Tiff, you're a wealth of information, and I thank you for every single thing that you've sent me. Some days I get so many things from you that I always star them to go back later because I know you've always got all the details on everything. And Tiff, thank you because you're the one who sent me that indictment. I was about to go on Pacer and get it. Actually, I looked earlier today and it wasn't up yet. So thank you, Tiff. You know who you are. Well, let's take a quick look at the Wellesley mother accused of taking the lives of her two little children, who was arraigned in court yesterday. Wellesley, also Norfolk County. Also Norfolk County. This was yesterday, May 6, 2026. It's the same judge who tried Stefan Diggs' case because we just can't get out of Massachusetts. Her name is JANETTE MAC AUSLAND. She's 49 years old, and I have a feeling we're going to learn a lot more about this story, more than I ever want to know because I hate these cases. What is it with so many mothers taking the lives of their children? Apparently, she even confessed. So this is from WCVB, Channel 5. Thank them for streaming this so that we can watch it together. We covered the story briefly when it first happened. It was about a week ago. We're going to hear more dates as we talk about this. And Wellesley is a crazy expensive town. Let's hear who she is. JANETTE MAC AUSLAND, brought into court for her arraignment in Dedham District Court in front of Judge Jeanmarie Carroll, who we just watched try Stefan Diggs. Now, here's another interesting thing I noticed when I watched this, because it's only about 7 minutes long. There's only one court officer. Only one court officer behind her the entire time, and she's a female. Remember how many court officers were around when we've seen other, murder defendants coming in for arraignments? Like all of them. All giant men, court officers. I don't know why. If anybody can give me a reason, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because she's the only one guarding this woman. And she seems to be hands in prayer the entire time. She's cuffed. Somebody told me that the red cuffs, see how you can see her handcuffs are red, is prisoners, I think, when they're in transport. Is that what you guys told me? Where are my corrections officers in the chat? I know we have a lot. All right. Here we go. You teach me so much. All right, let's go.
Counsel, do you wish to waive the reading?
Yes, I do. Attorney Krowski on behalf of Ms. MAC AUSLAND.
Thank you.
There's Krowski. He just got this case 20 minutes before this arraignment. He's going to tell us all about it. He wants to waive the reading, meaning I see all the TV cameras are here and you don't need to read what my client did. Here we go.
A not guilty plea has been entered on your behalf.
Your Honor, good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Hickman on behalf of the Commonwealth. Commonwealth to be asking that the defendant be held without bail. Your Honor, on April 24th.
Judge, I don't want to interrupt, but could we just approach sidebar before we actually get into the proceeding?
April 24th, this happened. And she fled to Vermont. We're going to hear more about it. Focus on her hands in prayer, it looks like. She's also in cuffs. I am Nancy Rue, says I was a correctional officer, and red cuffs for us were max custody, silver was general pop, and yellow was juvenile. Thank you. Not in Massachusetts, I guess, but that's interesting. She is a flight risk because she did flee to I think it was Bennington, Vermont. I've been watching so much in the past couple of days. Again, there's one court officer behind her, or guard, or I'm not sure what her position is exactly, but Scott McGinnis is telling us that painted cuffs are the courthouses so they don't get mixed up with police, sheriffs, marshals. Okay. She's in the in custody cage, so that's why one officer, but I've seen like defendants jump off the bench. Remember that defendant that jumped onto the bench and like attacked the judge? Remember that? All right, so we can fast forward this a little teeny weeny bit. Oh, here he comes. Okay.
Your Honor, if I may proceed? Your Honor, April 24th, 2026, at approximately 8:55 p.m., JANETTE MAC AUSLAND appeared at the home of her aunt, Sandra Madison, who resides in Bennington, Vermont. Ms. Madison later reported to Bennington police officers that the defendant had knocked on her window, and at first she had not recognized her niece. Ms. Madison observed the defendant to be hysterical and to have a large cut to her throat. Ms. Madison brought the defendant inside and attempted to calm her down. She observed that the blood on the defendant's neck was dry. The defendant explained to her aunt that she had tried to kill herself. Ms. Madison asked the defendant where her husband was, and the defendant stated that he was at the lake. When asked where the children were, the defendant told her aunt that she had killed them. When Bennington police arrived at Ms. Madison's home, they had a further conversation with the defendant. During that conversation, the defendant confirmed to officers that she had killed her children. After confirming the
I can't with this. I can't. What is going on? What is going on? She tried to cut her throat. She didn't succeed, so she drove 140 miles to Bennington, Vermont from Wellesley.
defendant's residence, Bennington police contacted the Wellesley Police Department and asked that they conduct a welfare check at that home. Wellesley police responded to that location, Your Honor, and upon entering to conduct a well-being check, found two deceased children, 7-year-old Kai and 6-year-old Ella MAC AUSLAND. Commonwealth, again, Your Honor, is asking that the defendant be held without bail.
Judge, there is at this point no opposition to that request, with the caveat that I would ask that you set it without prejudice. The reason is this. Between the date that I was notified of this case and today, the only discovery I have is a 6 or 7 page probable cause report. So I don't believe I'm in a position to fully argue bail and the questions regarding the Commonwealth's request on behalf of my client at this date. I don't know if you're aware, but
there's the judge. Do you recognize her? Have you watched Stefan Diggs with me? Somebody said her husband filed for divorce. There's no reason to kill your children. I'm sorry. People file for divorce all the time. She must have, there's something more at play here, I think.
I only for the first time met her approximately 20 minutes ago, so I've not even really been able to have an in-depth conversation with her. So I'd ask that you set it, but set it without prejudice. I would notify the court and the Commonwealth and file a written motion prior to just coming in and addressing bail at a future court date.
So without prejudice means I'm agreeing that you can hold her for now, but I'd like to come back and argue it after I have the opportunity. No, it doesn't have captions available. Sorry. If it did, I would put them on for you, but see, it's not unavailable. It's unavailable. Without prejudice means allow me to come back and argue bail later after I have more than 20 minutes to meet my client and go through the discovery. And that is Joe Krowski, Jr.
Your
Yes, Your Honor.
I know it's also discretionary, and unfortunately, the Commonwealth was not CC'd. I kind of did this last minute. There is a request on the minimus that she be sent to Chicopee, and the reason is that through my experience, both anecdotal and empirical, that they have the resources, the facilities, and they are set up for dealing with a situation with the attendant circumstances present here that might be necessary.
Chicopee is where they sent Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Remember? Chicopee is it's 2 hours from Salem. I don't know how far it is from Dedham. Somebody could probably Google that. It's far. But apparently the Norfolk County Pokey, or wherever they send the women, maybe they send them to the same place, doesn't have the proper accommodations for this defendant. Like 1.5 hours. Thanks. Thanks, Lily. Thanks, Lily.
All right, thank you. Obviously, that's something that the court can make a recommendation, and I don't know what will proceed to happen with regard to your client's status of where should be held from that point forward. But I am going to endorse it with that recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, you will be held without bail. Attorney Krowski has been appointed provisionally at this time. I must advise you, should you be charged with any additional crimes while this matter is pending, your personal recognizance or bail can be revoked, and you can be held in jail with no bail for a period of up to 90 days. That warrant has been recalled, Your Honor. No fee has been assessed. Court recommends defendant will be housed at the Women's Correctional in Chicopee, Massachusetts.
I also filed several motions under sale ex parte, and I'm happy to discuss them at sidebar ex parte if the court wishes.
That's fine. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
This is Jeanette Mac Ausland, who is charged with taking the lives of her 2 children at their Wellesley home on April 24th. She waived extradition from Vermont, and she was arraigned yesterday. I didn't have time to make a banner. I'm sorry. I'll timestamp it for you in the show notes.
What date for probable cause?
A little rough estimate. It's gonna take some time, right?
Yeah, the grand jury that's sitting right now wraps at the end of June. So I anticipate this is an investigation where we have individuals coming from multi-states. So I know we're gonna have some transport issues. I would anticipate that we'll be able to finish this by the end of June, but that I can put on the court's radar is when this grand jury, if I'm able to run out into issues within the grand jury, I would anticipate it would be done by the end of that time.
If there's an issue, we can advance it. We'll pick a July date for probable cause hearing. How is Monday, July 13th?
It's fine. Defendant will be held without bail pending the probable cause hearing on Monday, July 13th.
She's crying.
Want your client transported in?
Can I notify the court prior to that date?
All right, thank you. July 13th for probable cause.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
July
There are
13th.
other matters, Mr. Munstead, also, clear the courtroom. Thank you.
Yeah, she's weeping. I don't know any details about how she took the lives of her children, but apparently the grand jury has been convened. They're hearing this case. They'll wrap up, I think, at the end of June, they said, and we'll come back if it's wrapped. July 13th for a probable cause hearing. in this case, right in Norfolk. And if the charges are upgraded to whatever, she's indicted on the murder charges of her children by the grand jury, then it will bump up to Superior Court and we'll be right back in the same building in Norfolk Superior. And just can't get out of Massachusetts, like I said. Horrific. Horrific. She said Joseph Krowski will be appointed. So I guess, does he also do public defender work? In some cases, I guess he does, because he was a private attorney, I think, for Colin Albert. He was definitely not appointed for that. And he represents a lot of other high profile defendants who actually pay. So I'm not sure if he's being appointed as a public defender in this case, but that's what it sounded like to me. Anybody have any other information on that? Horrific. Yeah, she can only stop from doing it to herself. It just reminds me of Lindsay Clancy. Lindsay Clancy jumped out a second-story window to try and take her own life. She didn't succeed. Now we're awaiting her trial as well, and it's there's a horrific, like almost epidemic of mothers taking. It's. I mean, but it goes back for how long? How many? We've seen this a million times. I feel like too many times. Just the latest one. Just the latest one. All right, that's it for me. Somebody said they want me to cover the other hearing from Karen Reed. I just don't have the bandwidth for it tonight. I will. Tomorrow is Friday. I have so much going on. This is such a busy season for moms right now. It's like end of school. There's graduations. There's kids coming home from college. There's flights. There's airport runs. There's a million things going on right now. But so I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow because I don't know. News. It seems like we're always on a breaking news schedule, and so if I'm available to cover stuff that's breaking, I do. But if I can't, I can't. So please just show me some grace, and I'll do as much as I can for you. The Stephon Diggs case was a case we just fell into this week. I haven't had the time for it. We started covering it live, and I'm so glad that we did. Let me know if you are glad as well. If you didn't watch it, it was only a day and a half long, including the verdict, and it was beyond. Don't forget the Dyson Airwrap is on sale. I put the link in the show notes for you because I know you guys love a good sale. Also, Be in Trouble needs your prayers and thoughts. And his video explaining his medical condition right now is below in the show notes. And so, okay, Peter, lawyer, is doing something tomorrow if Melanie isn't free. He's covering Faust. Thanks. Okay, I guess I won't come on tomorrow, so you guys can all watch Peter at Lawyer talk about Faust, because it is important that more people become aware of and engaged with that trial. So maybe I just won't do anything tomorrow. All right, thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you, Ms. Jules in Florida, and to all of you who are moms. We do it all. And for those of you who also who do it all, who do the role of both parents, thank you to all of you for doing the Lord's work, because you know. Being both parents is not an easy thing, all right? All right, stay cool, stay kind, stay classy, stay safe. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Thank you, moderators. I love you so much. I love you so much that if I don't see you soon, I'm going to die. And so I don't know if everyone should go watch the Faust trial if you haven't watched it. So I have no idea what he's going on. I don't plan my schedule around like what other YouTubers do. I just don't. I can't, because I do it when I can do it. And so I don't look at the schedule and see who's on, who's not. Like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. People who want to watch me will watch on the replay if somebody else is on at the same time as me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Don't worry about it. But if I worried about what time other people were going on, I would never, ever, ever, never, ever be able to do my own shows. And my time is very, very limited. As you know, I'm very, very busy. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. I'm sure I'll see you before that. I just don't know exactly when. All right. I love you so much. Thank you all for everything for spending all of your time with me that you do. And smash the like button, hit the subscribe. It's free. Do all of the free things. And it helps the algorithm, because YouTube really wants to push you towards AI content and shorts. They don't want you watching long form content. And I just, I can't shut up. Like, it is very rare that I do anything under 2 hours or 3. We're bumping up on 3 right now. And so that is it. Happy Mother's Day. If you guys don't come back and see me before then, I love you all so very much. And I appreciate you so very much. I think I said everything I need to say. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you real soon. Bye.